bushel grain tank capable of unloading at 6 bushels per second. Turn downtime into dust with the Fendt Ideal 10 Combine. See one today at Nick's Service in Emerald Park.
As harvest is underway for another year, Harry, Justin, and Evan Shepherd and the rest of the Shepherd Realty team wish farmers across Saskatchewan a safe and successful harvest season and commend them for all of their contributions to this great province. The Shepherd Realty team are very proud to be part of Saskatchewan's vibrant agricultural community and want to thank their clients past and present for all of their business. Contact Shepherd Realty in Regina for all of your farm and ranch real estate needs. 306-352-1866. shepherdrealty.ca.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Sask Lotteries, bringing communities together. Sask Lottery products fund over 12,000 sports, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sportscage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
It is the Tuesday Sports Cage. Welcome. It is Barney Shankaruk and Derek Bidwell on this Tuesday for our friends at Saskatchewan Lotteries. All the sport, culture, and recreation groups out there in Saskatchewan will be happy to know that I donated again last night after those Monday night football games on my Sports Select tickets. I have no idea what I'm doing these days when it comes to gambling. We'll get to that in a bit. Coming up in the next 3 hours on this program, if you're watching on the stream, you see Bidwell is in an unbelievable tarp once again. Very nice. I went golf shirt today as well because I figured that you would be going with one of the upper tier 1 shirts, and you sure did. I love it. It looks really good. I went with the little shark golf shirt, trying to compliment you. I was way off color-wise, though. Not even close. But what we got on the show, we got Riders Talk. Dave Thomas at practice. They're back at practice today. We are going to hear from a number of different players, including Coach Mace, and one player who has been out for a while. He was back on the field. Looks like he possibly could be playing this weekend against Ottawa. We're going to talk about CFL power rankings. The CFL came out with them again. Really no love for the Riders. Like, absolutely no love. We are down near the bottom. Any closer, and we're out of the league. So Bidwell and I are going to have to get to the bottom of that. Dave Thomas will join us in a bit. Hour 2. Arash Madani is at the President's Cup in Montreal. We're talking golf with him. We're talking basketball. We're talking NFL, and we are talking some CFL with Arash Madani. SJHL. We're going to go through those power rankings, Bidsy, as well as the WHL power rankings. They're all up on sportscage.com. If you haven't seen them, we are going to go through those, and you can go and look at them, chime in on the poll. If there's one up there today, Colson, I'm not sure, at sportscage.com. We're going to talk WHL with Les Lazaruk from up in Saskatoon. We're going to talk about kind of the Eastern Conference with Lester and see, he's been around the game a long time. What is he really thinking going into the year? Maybe we'll record the tape, and then we'll play it back in March and see how bang on Lester was. Hour 3, Glenn Suter, and some Saskatchewan Rush news. We're going to be joined by the general manager of the Saskatchewan Rush. Oh, and I should mention Derek Bidwell as well. Unfortunate situation up in Candle Lake. If people have been listening, following, I don't know if the CKRM news team had it, but it's been on social media. The Candle Lake Golf Course. We're going to be joined by somebody from Candle Lake. Very unfortunate. Their clubhouse burnt down, right, Bidsy?
Yeah, a good chunk of it anyway. I mean, the fire started in the kitchen area right around there. If you've been in Candle Lake before, the kitchen restaurant area is, I believe, where it started. But we're going to be joined by somebody there that'll tell us what exactly happened, how much damage was done, and what they're doing to continue business at the Candle Lake Golf Resort.
Very unfortunate. I have not been there, but I know a lot of people that have been going up to Candle Lake the last few years. They've done some great things with that resort, that facility, and now Yeah, they're gonna. Well, we'll find out more. They're gonna have to do a little bit of a rebuild. Usually always starts around the kitchen. Unfortunately,
yeah, it's true.
Some
the
sort
grease,
of
something about the grease or
somebody sparked something. Yeah, it's
something.
It's
and
too
you
bad.
haven't played there.
No, it's really weird. I've only been to Candle Lake. I've only been to Candle Lake once. They used to have that massive volleyball tournament, August long weekend. Where people used to go and get absolutely buckled for days on end, and it just ended up to like a bunch of fights and everything. I went once, and I was like, yeah, not my cup of tea. I'm going to go across to Waskesiu, but they've done some great things with that golf course and some great, marketing as well. Hey, also we got to mention Friday Night Lights high school football for our friends at Regina Motor Products. Don't forget Regina Motor Products when you're going to get your tires switched over here in the next little bit. $20 off on that tire changeover with RMP. There are games in high school football tonight, Bidsy, as well. So we can. What I know so far, Curtis is telling me to move here on the stream. There we go. I'm not the scheduling for high school football. It's not like the old days when we played, where it was in the paper. And if it was in the paper, you knew it was true. Like it's true. Okay, 5 o'clock, so-and-so versus so-and-so. Football-wise, Weyburn, Moose Jaw, Peacock, Regional event. That is for sure happening. Got confirmation from our friend Kyle McIntyre in Swifty. Okay. That one does kick off at 4 o'clock. The winless Swift Current Colts against winless Estevan. So something's got to give there today unless they both end up in a tie. I don't know what the rule is in nine-a-side football, 5A style. Then, thank you, Jonathan Janusz. I think I pronounced your name properly. We got the
famous Januszes.
The Junior Cobras, Melville. They are in Esterhazy, 4 o'clock. So that's getting going in like 45 minutes time in Esterhazy. Probably a lot of knocking off early from the mine. I'm going to the game, going to watch my son, going to watch my grandson, going to watch do you mind if you cover me? Can you cover my last couple hours of the shift? Because I'm going to watch Melville and Esterhazy and a little high school football action. So Friday night
high school football. I was just going to add in there really quick though. Sorry, Shink, is just Esterhazy. When we were in high school, Esterhazy was where the Brown family came from. Jermaine Brown and Errol Brown, and they came to Marion Graham, and that's when we won the provincials thanks to the Brown sons.
Really?
And they came from Esterhazy. That's right. Errol went on to play in the CFL and had a pretty good career there, and Jermaine played for the Hilltops and then went down and played in the States. So shout out to a couple of Esterhazy alumni there, the Browns.
Right on. Any relation to Bobby?
There you go. No, I don't think so. No, I don't think there's a lot of Bobby's family from Esterhazy, no.
No, okay. Yeah, no, but that's great. Yeah. And then Marion Graham. You guys won provincials?
We did. It was because of a couple guys named Dwayne Demetrician, Errol Brown. Yeah, it was those guys. They were stacked. I did a lot of watching.
If you win a high school provincial championship, like you live in infamy forever. Like that. That's something. There's something about a provincial hockey title too. Don't get me wrong. That's a big deal. But a provincial high school, anything.
Yeah. In your high school, you're a god.
I'm sure that's a big deal. And then nowadays, a lot of the high schools, I think it's Riffle here in Regina. They do a great job. They hang up the banners. Everybody if I'm saying anything like erroneous information here today, send in a message 936-6262.
Correct us.
But I'm almost positive that it was it's at Riffle where they got the height that and then your name is there forever. Like I think that is so cool. It's like getting your name. So love high school sports. If you got some kids, grandkids, friends play high school football, hi@sportscage.com. We want to hear about it. and we are going to mention it, like we said, Friday Night Lights for Regina Motor Products. So next time you're looking for a vehicle, or if you're going to get tires changed over, remember Regina Motor Products, big sponsors of high school football. O'Neill does it in their gym as well. I have been in the O'Neill gym. My kids played badminton. O'Neill hosts the badminton for elementary school, the Catholic elementary schools here in Regina. It's you want to see a gong show? It's that badminton
Always love 'em.
day. They got two gyms going. They got teachers running in between both gyms, sweating. They're
Nice.
Little canteen concession. That vending machine just buzzes for about 5 hours because you're there at 4 o'clock or whatever it starts, the badminton. And if you keep advancing, like your kid's playing the final at like 9:30 at night. And some of these teachers are like organizing all of this. And they're like, all right, we need Derek Bidwell to gym 2 taking on Bobby Brown. And then the kids got to go over, and it's just, they do such a good job. I'm sure the public system does it as well. But high school,
I would totally
badminton.
dominate Bobby Brown. I totally would.
Yeah.
I put my money. I'd sprinkle a little on me for that one.
Yeah. Every little step you take, right? And the other, like high school banners, if you have one, I am jealous. And then, okay, so we got some high school football there right out of the gate. We changed things up a little bit. Riders practice today. Colson, what do you got? Let's hear the one. We're going to talk to Dave Thomas in a bit, but we got Brammer back on the field today. He was looking
Big
good.
news.
Yeah, for sure. Here's Dave Thomas. You caught up with him right after practice.
Well, Jacob, we put it out there that you were out working out again with the team, and there's a lot of people that are pretty excited just to see you back and out there competing. What's it been like having to watch the last number of weeks?
It's been tough. Like, you never want to be injured, but it's been, I've used it as like just sticking with it mentally, like learning more the ins and outs of the schemes and everything. So just staying locked in, but yeah, definitely excited to be back out here with everyone and practicing again for sure.
What have you seen from this group over the last number of weeks, including the big victory last week in Calgary?
No doubt. Like, we've seen a lot of improvement. I know we've had a bunch of injuries go down, so we're mixing and matching, but the guys have done an outstanding job just stepping in and playing with one another with all the changes that we've had, just handling adversity. So hoping to just help anywhere I can.
Offensive line meetings must be fun this week after you got a running back that goes for 205 yards, huh?
Yes, sir. No doubt, yeah. Anytime you have someone like that, like all of our running backs can pop for that. But like Rock, like, it's just great to have him out here, and we're excited to block for him.
What did anything change, I guess? The number one thing you point to, well, there's a different back, but obviously the offensive line is coming together too, no?
No doubt, yeah. The back for sure helps a lot. And then I would say like that was one of the second weeks where we just had the same line put together, so they meshed well together and just we're really clicking with one another in the run game as well.
Give me the intricacies of your position, because we've seen Logan Furlan play center, guard, and tackle. We saw you in training camp take a lot of reps at tackle, and now you've been taking some reps at guard as well. What are the intricacies in that change?
It's little things here and there that are different, but I like to pride myself on being able to play all 5 positions. So wherever I need to get in, like wherever I can help the team, I feel like I'll just get in there and give it my all.
So tell me, what's this team mentality right now? Obviously, you can feel the positivity after the big victory last week. How do you carry that ahead?
No doubt about it. I mean, just going off of what Mace says, like we're just 1 week at a time. We're treating it like playoff ball right now. Just trying to 1 week at a time, 1 game at a time, and just try to build off of that each week.
Jacob, it's very clear you love doing what you do, and it's great to be able to see you out there doing that again. Thanks for this.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Have a good day.
Oh, yeah. That's nice to see. Jacob Brammer back on the field. Good work. Like I said, Dave Thomas is coming up in a bit. Dave Thomas and Luke Mullender are right on this radio station for the game against Ottawa on Saturday. Kickoff is at 1 o'clock. Pre-game show with Justin Dunk and Wes Cates starts at 10 a.m. So you can pour yourself your second cup of coffee, maybe make a flapjack or a scrambler of some sort, and listen to the pre-game show starting at 10 o'clock. Okay, so already first screw-up of the day, Bidsy. It's actually not us.
Okay.
Unless I read it wrong. Thanks to the people that are listening and texting in, the game is actually in Melville, not in Esterhazy. So those guys in the mine that I say are going to knock off a little early, they're putting in the full shift today. It's 4 o'clock in Melville. We got Esterhazy and Melville. I looked at the schedule. I printed off the schedule again from the whatever it is, Saskatchewan high school athletics thing. That game is scheduled for October 4th. So I have no idea why they're playing it today, but I appreciate everybody that messaged in. Unfortunately, we can't keep track of every high school football game unless Colson's got
Especially
an
with
extra
the
6 hours in his
happen.
day. Yeah. But yeah, so that one's in Melville. If you're around Melville this evening, what's in Melville? Melville's a big CN town. It's a train, lots of train workers on the railroad there. So maybe they can knock off early, go watch that game. 4:00, no lights, perfect. It is such a nice afternoon in southern Saskatchewan. It is so nice out there. I'm so jealous for anybody that's doing anything out like golfing, watching a football game, frisbee, whatever. It's just so nice outside right now.
Some pickleball, maybe.
Isn't that more of an indoor thing? Isn't that more of an indoor thing unless you're in Arizona?
Well, it started. Yeah, I was going to say it started in Arizona, but I know a lot of the courts here in Saskatoon. They've changed a lot of the certain markings so that more people got into it in the summer. But yes, something that we could add to our winter schedule in Saskatchewan because we got to do a lot of things indoors, as you know.
Full disclosure, I've never played pickleball. I get the hyper. It's like cornhole. The backyard here in Regina is like a cornhole center now, but it's basically an awesome bar with a bunch of, what do they call them, lanes to play cornhole. It's called the backyard, like fundraising, and it's all electrical. You download an app and you're like playing for real. And it's like, but the pickleball thing, I know there's an indoor pickleball facility in Regina. There's a limousine that hasn't moved in 2 years that it's like an advertising billboard on the exhibition ground. So I think that's where it might be. No free plugs, but I'm giving one here. Have you played pickleball?
I have played pickleball in Arizona, and I will throw out a little one here in Saskatoon is because you're familiar with it. The Granite Curling Club has turned into a pickleball center. It's no longer curling.
Yeah. The thing about, I love table tennis. Like, absolutely love ping pong.
Yeah.
So I think I will love pickleball. I love badminton as well. Yeah. I think badminton is one of the most underrated high school sports out there. It's so hard. And if you play someone that's really good in badminton, it's you really get humbled. My sister was an unbelievable badminton player. I played her once. Macho, grade 12 tarp-off guy. Thought I was all deadly. Poof, did she smoke me. Like,
I was going to say, so you were trying to smash everything, and she was playing a finesse, intelligent game, right?
No. I was playing finesse, too. I thought I was playing it really smart. I got absolutely schooled. Badminton's a tough sport. The thing about pickleball, this is your pickleball report on the Sports Cage, is I am worried.
We'll get it sponsored.
I'm worried about getting injured, like with everything I do. But then I see most pickleball players are above 70, 60 years old. So is there a lot of moving in pickleball?
There's not a lot of moving, Shank. No, you're kind of, there's a lot of you kind of stay in one spot. And if
like
anything,
table tennis.
you may step over, maybe a step here and there, but there's no diving and you're not going that hardcore. No, it's fairly safe as far as injuries go.
Okay. I'm really
on
maybe
the
this will
safer
be
side anyway.
This will be the winter that I try out some pickleball. But we are talking Riders as well as pickleball here on the Sports Cage. We're going to bring in Dave Thomas in a bit. Maybe we'll bring in Dave, and then we'll talk about the first thing I want to talk about is the CFL power rankings that came out.
Yes,
I don't agree with them. I would really like to find out how they came to this. As someone that does rankings for senior hockey in the winter on the Monday Nooner podcast, I know it's hard to do. We are dealing with a shorter or a smaller sample size with the CFL. There isn't as many teams. But I have some real hard questions. And maybe once we talk about it, it'll make more sense for me. But I just don't understand. If you're watching the stream, you are seeing Bidwell in his awesome golf shirt, like I said, sportscage.com. That's where you can go and vote also for the poll, sportscage.com. Colson, the poll reads,
will the Riders make the playoffs? Yes or no?
Will the Riders make the postseason? You can vote, sportscage.com. And thanks to everyone who is listening and chiming in on 620 CKRM.
The all-new Sports Cage is brought to you by Sherwood Co-op Liquor Stores. Now open in Harbor Landing and Rochdale Boulevard.
Sunday mornings, we're giving you control. It's the 620 CKRM Request and Dedication Show with Ray Allen. Sunday mornings from 10 till noon, 2 hours set aside for you to pick what we play. From the latest to the greatest, it's all in your hands. It's all brought to you by Matt's Furniture. Online at mattsfurniture.ca. True Fit Denture Clinic. No one should know you wear dentures, not even you. The Sunday morning Request and Dedication Show on the voice of Saskatchewan. 620 CKRM.
Sorry, summer's over. Which means the massive 3-day Sorry, Summer's Over sale starts Friday at Sherwood Co-op Home Center. Save 15% off all regular priced items in store, including lumber. Home-based garage mat, 7 by 21 feet, regular $399.99. Now only $169.97. All in-stock patio furniture sets, now 50% off. Sherwood Co-op Home Center's Sorry, Summer's Over sale starts Friday, 6:15, Winnipeg Street North. Limited quantities, no rain checks.
Your friends at Prairie Gun Traders in Avonlea have exactly what you need this fall. From muzzle loaders, rifles to shotguns, you are totally covered this hunting season. Plus, browse through their great selection of ammunition, optics, calls, trail cams, scents, knives, and more. The hunting store that has it all at Prairie Gun Traders in Avonlea. You have a friend in the game. Main Street, Avonlea, or check out prairieguntraders.ca.
Hi, this is Stephen Art from the Tire Stewardship of Saskatchewan. We're the ones responsible for recycling your tires. We're a non-profit corporation that was established to serve as the scrap tire recycling program operator in Saskatchewan, approved by the Ministry of the Environment. We're responsible to all stakeholders, including consumers who pay the tire environmental fee, the collectors, the Ministry of the Environment, and the people of Saskatchewan. Visit tSSK.ca to see how you can recycle your tires.
Your Co-op Grow team are your local experts because we live here too. Our agronomic specialists stay up to date with the latest research and technology to help support your entire farm operation. Talk to our team for advice tailored to your farm's needs. We have recommendations to help you optimize your crop yield and quality while enhancing the health of your land. Co-op, we're all growing together. Here for your farm, here for your family. Learn more at coop.crs/farm.
With top-performing tillage, seeding, and crop care implements, Kubota's got what you need for efficient, productive farming, including plows, drills, and more. This fall, get 0% financing for up to 60 months. See your Kubota dealer for details.
The all-new Sports Cage. Be part of the show. Call 936-6262 or toll free 1-866-767-0620. 620 CKRM.
Welcome back. It's for Saskatchewan Lotteries. Shink Bidsey, Colson, and Curtis. Soon we're going to be joined by Dave Thomas, voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Curtis is just kind of working on some things here to pull Dave in. Bidsey.
Yes, sir.
Going through the Capital Ford Lincoln text line. Capital Ford Lincoln, Saskatchewan's #1 Ford retailer. Love
I have a hunch where this is going.
No, you will not know. I looked down here and I got a 204 number. Congratulations on finally winning a game after Labor Day. Those Manitoba people and their chirps. Yeah. They're so funny.
They got in there. Yeah, they're witty.
You'll
love them.
Funny. Okay, so power rankings.
Yeah.
Winnipeg. This guy can be real proud. Or girl. I don't think it has a name. They are first place according to the CFL power rankings, and whoever does that. Second, the Montreal Alouettes. Third, this is the one. Who would you rank third in the CFL right now, Bidsey?
I've looked at a few rankings now, so I'm kind of misled here a little. You know, I'm kind of cheating, I suppose, in this, but yeah, they have. They have Hamilton in this one, and I'm looking at.
No. What year?
Then Toronto.
What year are you looking at? 1989?
This is actually this is 3 Down Nation that I'm looking at. And they have Montreal #1, Winnipeg #2, Hamilton, number 3.
Okay.
In the rankings.
You know what?
Right now.
It's not that far off. I was going to say those boys at 3 Down Nation, they must have been in the sauce when they came out with their. But I don't think they really drink over there. So, but the one I'm looking at, the Elks are 3rd.
Edibles.
Elks are 3rd. Tiger Cats are 4th. Ottawa, Toronto, BC, Saskatchewan, Calgary.
Okay. I'll read you this one all the way through. It's fairly close. Montreal number 1 according to 3 Down Nation. Winnipeg number 2, so those are flipped. Hamilton 3, Toronto 4, those are flipped. Ottawa 5. They have Edmonton at 6, which is the big difference there between those two. Saskatchewan 7, BC 8, Calgary 9.
BC 8.
Yeah.
Calgary 9. Yeah, that one.
Yep.
That one's out there as well. We're going to talk to Glenn Suter in hour 3. I know Glenn Suter wants to talk about the quarterback controversy or the quarterback swapping that they are doing in Edmonton. It's getting really crazy over there in Edmonton. Is Dave Thomas on the line with us, fellas? Dave Thomas, voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Didn't pay his internet bill today, so he's joining us on his cell phone, which is okay. Dave, I know you're there. If we were going to do a Dave Thomas power rankings, how would that shake down today?
I would say number 1 would probably be the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Okay.
No, sorry. 1 would be Montreal, 2 would be Winnipeg.
Okay, hold on. Are you sure now? Montreal.
Yeah.
Okay, Winnipeg. Yeah.
Okay.
Then I would probably go with BC.
Whoa.
Good.
I like this.
Shake it up,
going.
Dave. DT, go ahead.
Why do I have to? Okay, so then I would go Saskatchewan 4. Ottawa 5. Edmonton 5, Ottawa 6. Sorry, I'm doing this on the fly.
I know. I like it. Ottawa 6.
And 7 would be Toronto. 8 would be Hamilton. 9 would be Calgary.
Yeah,
So,
it's easy. All you got to do is make sure you end up with 9.
Isn't that weird? Right? Like, so you look at all the different ones. I didn't write down your 3 Down Nation one, Bidsy, but Kate, the first 2 are the same everywhere. After 2, it's an absolute.
Yep.
Who knows? Like Dave goes.
And then the only thing
BC. What makes you think BC there, Dave?
I think BC is getting healthier. I like their defense, and they've been more consistent throughout the course of the season.
That's fair.
And again, that's saying a lot in the West because nobody in the West has been consistent. And if the Riders pick up a win, then all of a sudden they're shooting way up my power ranking this weekend over Ottawa because this is a statement game as far as I'm concerned against the Red Blacks.
Yeah, and then the only other thing that is consistent all the way across, Shink, I was going to say, is Calgary, right? Yeah, last.
In the basement. So Dave's got Ottawa at 6. The CFL has Ottawa at 6 too. So, okay, there's some similarities. I'm going to keep this here, and then we'll revisit it later. This is good stuff. Okay, Dave, I think I was on the phone with you today when you were at practice, and all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, Jacob Bramner is back." You were pretty excited about that.
Well, I know that he was getting closer to returning from his knee injury. Of course, that was the injury that he sustained in practice. And before he went down, he was playing the right tackle position. So I was intrigued if he would come back. And then I was more intrigued as to where he would go in because right now you got Travion Tate that's playing the right tackle position that Brammer was at. And I don't think you displaced a veteran. So Brammer actually moved to the right guard side. And that's where Nick Jones, the rookie, has been playing out of Mississippi. And again, to me, it was one of those things that I was like getting real excited. For the first time this season, for 3 straight weeks, the Riders are going to have the same 5 people along the offensive line. Well, this time there's a change, but it's not a change due to injury. It's a change due to health, I would submit. However, head coach Corey Mace didn't fully commit that Jacob Brammer was going to start at the right guard position.
Colson's going to get the clip here ready, but I know one of the first things that you talked to Coach Mace about today at practice, question that a lot of Rider Nation is wondering after the game about a Joe. And like I said, you had a chance to talk to Coach Mace at practice about it.
Coach, let's start on the injury front. Back on Friday night, Joe left early in that first quarter, didn't return. Any update on your receiver?
Yeah, no, we're still waiting to get the total results. Had some imaging and stuff like that. Hopefully it's nothing that requires, a major surgery or anything like that. But we shouldn't be knowing here probably the next couple hours as far as the true update on that.
Right on. Yeah, so couple hours. That was a couple hours ago. It says like the weekly report, the injury report came out for the Riders just a little bit ago. Joe, it just says, knee did not participate. Any indication, Dave? I know it's hard for you how bad it would look. Can you shed some light on that at all?
The only thing that I could say is that it happened directly across the field from where we were located at McMahon Stadium, and I haven't seen a replay on the play at all yet. So, unfortunately, that's the information that I've got in my hands. The other thing that I can say, though, is that his teammates really reacted quite quickly around him, again, taking a knee to make sure that they showed support for a Joe. So, that's all the information that I'm privy to at this point. So, from what I understand, is the hope is that it doesn't need surgery. And again, you just heard Corey Mace tell us that. So that's the big question mark right now, I would suggest.
What else from practice today as they got back at it today caught your eye?
Well, Roland Milligan Jr. was back out, which is great after the birth of his fourth child, a baby girl, and we had a great talk about it, and he was pretty excited, and as you could see, a little glistening in his eyes, which is pretty cool. So it was pretty neat to see him. And again, it was with the full blessing of his team and his teammates that he was there for the birth of his daughter, so that was pretty cool. CJ Rivas was not on the practice field today, and I didn't know if it was going to be kind of a more maintenance day as he's taken on a heavy load, especially last week without Roland Milligan Jr. I see it shows him with a knee injury on the injured report today. So that was a little bit frustrating in seeing that because you hope for his health. But Anthony Lanier, I thought that he continued the ramp-up process. And last week I thought he was ramping up pretty good. And I wouldn't have been surprised last week if he found a way to get into the lineup. But this week, again, he's continuing to ramp it up. And he was taking more reps with the first team. And as opposed to being on the inside, they actually had him on the outside of the defensive line. So those are kind of the things that stood out today at practice for sure.
Micah Johnson, it says limited back. So obviously maybe a little lumbar problem there for Micah. Do you think this is kind of just maintenance, just kind of giving him maybe an extra day of just light work, or is there something more there?
Well, he was at practice for sure. He was there. He was walking around. He was mobile. And, I would suggest that, again, respecting the athlete that Micah Johnson is, again, he's been doing this for a long time, and he knows better than anybody else what his body or where his body is at, what it needs. If it needs an extra day here or there, he might take it or might be given it more. So I don't think that he'd ever want to take a day off. So to me, that was kind of what I thought was interesting today was that, again, some people say, it's a vet day, but it's not. It's a guy that's earned the respect of his colleagues in the league and his teammates, and he knows his body. So hopefully he's back at practice tomorrow and ready to go.
There's only one thing that cures a back, though, Dave. It's swimming in the East River. Bidsy, go ahead.
I was just going to ask you, Dave, about the mood at practice. You've been there for the last few weeks when the mood hasn't been good. Of course, Corey Mace last week took the team back into the dressing room and blasted him for a poor effort in practice. But this is resuming practice after a victory. What was the mood like? Did it seem like they had just won?
That's an excellent question because one of the things that Trevor Harris told me post-game was the fact that nothing can change. They just won a game. It's great that they won the game, but nothing can change. Their approach can't change, and you shouldn't be able to tell at practice whether they're coming off a loss or whether they're coming off a win, because the dedication, the commitment, and the willingness to execute and perform at a high level in practice is non-variable, and it's non-negotiable. And today, I would suggest that, there was a few more, it was a little bit louder than what it's been the last little bit, but I would suggest it was every bit as focused, every bit as intense, and again, to me, I think that's a great sign that, again, the practice habits have been instilled from the coaching staff from day one, the expectations and the standard, and to me, I think that it was just, this is business. This is what we've got to do, and we know where we're at, and we know what we have to do in order to be successful.
Yeah, well, that's perfect, and all that. Ottawa, like, I don't know. The last matchup against Ottawa, the weather was so awful. Like, I'm looking back and I'm like, well, I guess we did this well, but we didn't do. And it's like, but it was an absolute monsoon. I'm sitting back. Dave, and then Bids, you can chime in as well. Like, I just don't know if I know enough about this Ottawa team as far as how we match up against them.
I think we're very similar to Ottawa in a lot of different regards. However, we're healthier. Believe it or not, with all the injuries we've gone through this season, I would suggest that we're healthier, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So as far as I'm concerned, the intriguing matchup is going to be Jeremiah Masoli. Again, I've had a lot of respect for Jeremiah Masoli, even going back to his days in Hamilton. And when he left to sign with Ottawa, I was absolutely shocked that Hamilton would let him go. But he's been through it the last couple of years, and he's going to come into Saskatchewan, and, it's terrible, but the over-under is going to be how many times are they going to show and talk about the injury that he sustained here a couple of years ago, right? As terrible of an incident as that was, it's going to be brought up all week and put in front of his face. And so, like I say, he's had terrible, terrible luck on the injury front, and blowing the Achilles last year set him back again. But he knows the offense. Tommy Condell has worked with Jeremiah Masoli for years. They know what they want to do. They know what they want to accomplish. I think he's quicker at making reads than what Drew Brown is. And like I say, I think he's going to be a real pain in the neck for the Rough Rider defense all afternoon on Saturday, and the Riders are going to have to do well to contain him.
The other big thing, of course, is I want to see if old Rock Armstead there can do it 2 games in a row, right? I mean, he puts up 200 yards rushing. Everybody's talking about him. He comes back, and all of a sudden he solves the run game, and he gets us some big numbers there. And also, he's facing the team that let him go. So I look for him to be running with a little bit of anger, too. So that's something I'm excited to see.
Well, and you know what? If you go back to the old Dukes of Hazzard saying, sometimes you have to use the old shuck and die. Because if I'm the Ottawa Redblacks, hey, come on. If I'm the Ottawa Redblacks, what am I anticipating? I'm anticipating a guy that's got to be in his bonnet that just ran for 200 yards all over Calgary the week before. So I'm doing everything that I can to stop him, right? And maybe this is where you go ahead and, you just flare it over the linebackers that you'd think would have to come and approach the line. Maybe this is, like I say, the old ultimate decoy where you're never going to expect that, hey, they're going to move away from it. I don't expect that entirely, but the option is there. And like none other time this season, I believe that it is a true option that the Rough Riders have, is the threat of running and passing the football.
Can we just also make this a lot of a show where we reference the Dukes of Hazzard throughout it, Shink, if you wouldn't mind, for the next couple hours?
You know what? I love the Dukes of Hazzard, but I don't remember a lot about it. Besides, obviously, Catherine, what was her last name? Beach, and then Boss Hogg, and the car was amazing. And I think the more impressive thing... Roscoe, yes. I think the more impressive thing there was Dave. I had it on my list here for this week. Was anybody going to say B in his bonnet? And Dave did check it off. So Dave, Dave, I had a little wager going with myself in there. Okay, Dave. Here is the. Too bad we can't see him on the stream because I know he's laughing so hard right now. Okay, here's the real question that everybody. Not everybody. Here's the question that 89% of Rider Nation fans are asking. How do you pronounce Armstead's first name?
Raquel. R-U-H and then Quell. So Raquel Armstead.
Are you going to remember that? Can you write this down, Colson? Because I guarantee I'll forget it by 4:30.
Raquel. Raquel. Let's go with Rock.
My poster board and markers.
Raquel.
I'll hold it up on a poster.
Raquel. Okay, Dave. So we got, I know you had practice today. We got Eau Claire audio coming up. We got Awachi, and then the rest of Coach Mace. So good work today, my man. I got a little IPTV thing going on, and I mentioned this last week. It plays shows 24/7. There's like 544 different shows, and of course one of them is Dukes of Hazzard. It just plays Dukes of Hazzard on and on. So maybe in a couple of weeks I'll have you boys over for a couple of cold ones, and we'll just sit there and watch Dukes of Hazzard.
I love it.
Voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, big General Lee fan, Dave Thomas, joining us. We're going to get to all his audio from practice in a bit. Like we said, sportscage.com, if you want to go back on there and you missed the show yesterday, Darian Durant talked about, I already forgot. Raquel? No.
R-U-H. Quell.
Just remember R-U-H and then Quell.
Raquel. Nice story there that Alan Lee, I think, did on Darian Durant, talking about the quote was nothing deadlier than an angry running back. So that's at sportscage.com. That's where you're watching our stream. And as always, we are on the home of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, 620 CKRM.
What's going on in the markets? When is the right time to invest? What should you do with your money today? When Len had questions, he talked to Brian Gawley.
I was with the bank, but they're a little bit too big, a little bit impersonal. I was kind of looking for someone with more of a personal touch, and Brian's a good old Saskatchewan boy and a really good guy to deal with.
You don't have to plan your financial future alone. Call Brian Gawley of Smart Investing Solutions, 306-546-2533.
I would recommend them to anyone.
No dugout in the pasture? You could move the cows or just put the water where the cows are. With a Keln Solar Livestock Watering System, you can put your pump pretty much anywhere without the cost of hooking up to the grid. If your cows are over here, put your Keln Solar Livestock Watering System over here. If they're over there, put it over there. If the cows are on the roof, you have weird cows. Learn more about the Keln Solar Livestock Watering System at kelnsolar.com. Keln Solar, we move water.
Down here at Heartland Livestock Moose Show, we are now in full swing for fall run. These sales continue to fill daily, so don't hesitate to get your calves booked in. We are home to 2 of the major buying plants that represent Western and Eastern Canada as well as the United States, with 4 major trucking companies helping bring the extra dollar for your calves for all your marketing needs. Or if you're looking to book in, don't be afraid to give us a call at 692-2385. Get top dollar for your calves and get them sold at Heartland Livestock Moose Jaw.
Rider Nation lives on 620 CKRM. I'm Dave Thomas, voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Saturday is game day as the Riders take on the Ottawa Redblacks. Countdown to kickoff with Justin Dunk is at 10 a.m. Pre-game shows at 12. And kickoff with Luke Mullender and I is at 1. Saskatchewan Roughrider football on the Cooperators Roughrider Radio Network is brought to you by the Cooperators, SaskTel, and Unifor Locals 1S and 2S. Stream every minute of Rider football at sportscage.com.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. Connect with the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262.
Shinkabidze here on this Tuesday for Saskatchewan Lotteries joining us. One thing we did have on the social media, we missed it yesterday. Was it 31 years, Coulson?
That would make sense. 31 years.
31 years since, I can't call it the GOAT. That's Curtis likes to call it. I'm going to top 3 video game of all time. And if you played sports video games, like I know a lot of people like their Mario Brothers. My wife, big Mario Brothers girl. Mario Brothers 3, I think, and Pac-Man. I said, when I had Harry on, we talked about Tecmo Super Bowls, next level. And that is, Tecmo Super Bowl is right there with NHL 94, which is 31 years old now. Sega Genesis, NHL 94, there's probably a ton of you out there right now remembering this game. Bidsy, I don't know, did you, how do I, it was so good. And I love still playing it to this day, although my controllers stink. I gotta get new ones. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're asking me, or you're going to ask me which game. Were you going to ask me which game that I like the best, like the best sports game growing up?
No, I want you to talk about NHL 94.
Just about NHL 94. Just about that one.
This is NHL 94's day. It's 31 years old.
Okay, got to dedicate it to them. Yeah, no, some good memories there for sure. The only thing about me, though, to be honest, is I wasn't a huge video game guy. I just wasn't in it a lot. Now, if there was one that I did like, NHL 94 would probably be up there for sure. Those are the ones, if anything, that I ever did play were sports ones. But overall, not a huge video game guy. I'm not a huge gamer.
Okay,
Wasn't a gamer.
You can take the next 10 minutes off then. So I need somebody to call in. Call in that is as cuckoo for NHL 94 as me. The Ottawa was really bad. I remember that. Here's the forward ratings. Mario Lemieux. If you use the Penguins, you had Lemieux and Yager. I think Tom Barrasso was the goalie. The Penguins were good. Alexander Mogilny was sneaky in that. He was a 96 rating. Adam Oates was 93, but Adam Oates was slow. I always built my team around speed. That's why I really liked, although I was a massive Dallas Stars fan, or Minnesota North Stars, it was Dallas there. Mike Modano, Dave Gagne, Brian Bellows, like, come on. Shane Churla, maybe subbing in here and there. But I loved Vancouver. Yeah. I've never loved the Vancouver Canucks in anything except for NHL 94 because Jeff Courtnall was way too fast. They made him so fast. And then you had Pavel Bure.
Yeah. Well, the Russian Rocket, you would think anybody would have him real fast. And Mike Modano as well, too. I mean, those guys, their whole thing was speed. Like, Mike Modano was one of those guys where his jersey would... I don't know if he had his jersey bigger just so that it would kind of flap behind him almost like a cape. But he, and maybe back in the day, Guy Lafleur, those guys, like, they just looked faster than everybody else, too. And, Modano would definitely be one of those guys. Courtnall, you said? Yeah?
Jeff Courtnall. If you take the Vancouver Canucks in that game, now mind you, you can get bullied around because Jeremy Rowan, Glenn Wesley, Justin, my buddy Justin used to use Glenn Wesley all the time for Boston, and he was such a bully. They made him way too strong. You'd go anywhere near him, and he just throws you against
knock you down
the boards. Okay, so I got the ratings of teams. The Anaheim Mighty Ducks, they were new. They were 51. So they stunk. Florida was 52. Yeah. They stunk. Ottawa was 55. This is how good this one guy. I thought I was pretty good at this game, and I still have it under the bunk bed at the cabin. It's the original Genesis, and we used to pull it out. We used to play it at the Lobstick, gamble, like hard gambling. And then the controller broke the one year, so the one guy's like a tech guy for the RCMP, and he cleaned it with vodka, and it ended up working like amazing again. But this one guy was so good and we got, okay, well, how about you try and beat us with Ottawa? And somehow he did. He ran the tables with Ottawa. Like, I don't know if it was Radek Bonk.
That's a good
Sean
play.
Van Allen, I think, is on that Ottawa team. San Jose Sharks were 56. Like, this brings back so many memories.
Sean Van Allen. Wow.
NHL 94. Like, that's why they have the tournament. What's the movie? Swingers, right? It's like, when they're playing, and it's like, little Wayne's head's bleeding on the ice because Chicago and LA playing in there. LA, although they made the Cup final the year before or that year, whatever they were pretty good. What's their ranking? No, they were only 74. I think they had bad goaltending. They had like Kelly Rudy and Mario Gosselin or something in net. See, Vancouver's only 71. They were sneaky good. The Jets were 72. Young Keith Tkachuk out there, little Dave Manson on the back end. I could go on. I could do this until midnight.
You can tell. You're fired
talking
up. You
about
can tell.
NHL 94. Colson and Curtis are like, we weren't even born. Like, we have no idea what you're talking about.
We have no idea what Barney was talking about here on this one. I got to throw in a quick one on Sean Van Allen, of course, former Saskatoon Blade. You mentioned he was on that Ottawa
from
team.
From Shaunavon, Saskatchewan.
Really stinky. Yeah. Anyway, when he was in Saskatoon, he was a buddy of mine's. They billeted him. And Rob McEwen is his name, who's gone on to become a pretty good doctor here in Saskatoon. And anyway, Sean Van Allen would get us scary movies down in Canorama at the video rental place there, would get us the VHSs, the scary movies, because we weren't allowed to rent them. So, yeah, the Freddy Kruegers, the Children of the Corn, like we were talking about, the scary ones. So thank you, Sean Van Allen, for those nightmares when I was around 10, 11 years old.
Hot Take Perry, of course, always chimes in on a beautiful fall day. NHL 94, bar 9. So I'm thinking he's bar none. The best game ever. Yeah. The Leafs with Gilmore Clark banging and crashing. My pot van in the pipes. holding solid. The only thing that could stop them was Kerry Fraser in the 93 playoffs. We got to keep it on the game, though. Toronto.
Still bitter.
What's Toronto's ranking here? Hot take, Perry. Maybe we should host a Sportscage NHL 94 tournament somewhere. Get Spiro from Western Pizza. Just have a real shindig.
Make it kind of like Karate Kid, where all the way gets to the final, and then you guys are on a stage.
Yes.
Yeah, and you guys are on the stage, and everybody's just around you, and then you guys just square off.
Played Joey Esposito. You're the best around. I like what you're thinking there. That would be NHL. The only thing is finding the consoles. You'd need maybe 3 or 4 really good consoles, and the controllers need to work, because you've got one guy that's got bad controllers. Then he's going to complain and be like, oh.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the controller. You also got to bring that guy that is the RCMP tech guy, and you got to get him a 66 of vodka just in case a controller has an issue.
Yes, I'll do it. Okay, well, we're gonna talk about this more.
Yeah.
If you have any memories of NHL 94, or you think a tournament's a good idea, 936-6262. It is the all-new Sports Cage, streaming, sportscage.com, and on 620 CKRM.
When you have a big job on the go, always head to Prairieland Rental for everything from skid steers to excavators to jackhammers. You'll get everything done with equipment just from Prairieland. You won't need to go anywhere else. And at Prairieland, you deal directly with the owner. They're very local and very Sask. They appreciate your local business, and they've got everything you need for your projects. They'll even deliver. Prairieland Rental, 600 Albert Street. PrairielandRental.com.
Rider Nation, the all-new Sports Cage is bringing you Cooperators Rough Rider football like never before. Now, for every home game, you can watch the Rider Radio live stream on our Sports Cage YouTube channel. Saturday, the Riders take on the Red Blacks. The live stream starts at 10 with Countdown to Kickoff, brought to you by Croft Electric. And we wrap up the game with a Sports Cage Radio Roundtable, brought to you by McDougall Auction. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. And don't miss a minute of our Rider Radio live stream.
First Nations University of Canada invites you to join their annual Smudge Walk to honor the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation on September 27th at the First Nations University of Canada, Regina campus. The day starts with a pipe ceremony at 8 a.m. and the walk through the First Nations University of Canada and University of Regina campuses begins at 9:30. Presentations and special announcements will follow, with a community lunch on campus at noon. The first 200 people attending will receive an orange Every Child Matters t-shirt. We hope to see you there.
Since 1949, Nelson Homes has been providing you one-stop shopping for ready-to-move homes, panelized packages, and on-site builds. Nelson Homes' team of authorized dealers all over Saskatchewan would be happy to help you turn your dream home into a reality. In the Saskatoon area, call Kurt at Canadian Timber Homes or call 1-800-661-6534 for more information. Nelson Homes, trusted quality and service since 1949.
This is Roy Rutledge at the Weyburn Livestock Exchange. Our next cattle sale here in Weyburn is this Wednesday, September 25th. This will be a regular sale of cull cows and cull bulls, both of which are selling well, probably because there are not many on the market yet. If you have butcher cows or bulls to market at this time of year, this will be the sale to bring them to. Just call the Weyburn Livestock Exchange to get them booked in. Call us at 842-4574. Then next Monday, September 30th, we will be having a pre-sorted calf sale featuring mainly Seminole and Charolais Cross calves. It is that time of year, again, when the fall run is starting. It is the first calf sale, and it is not full, but it probably won't fill up because it's so early in the fall. But prices are good, and some of the later sales are full already. October 23rd and 28th and November 4th are all full already. To book your cattle, call the Weyburn Livestock Exchange at 842-4574.
The largest selection of pre-owned trucks and SUVs is at Capital GMC. The GM Certified Truck Sale is on right now. Over 170 pre-owned trucks and SUVs, GMC, Chevys, Fords, Rams, Toyotas, gas and diesel, available at the lowest prices. And all GM Certified vehicles come with roadside assistance and a 150-plus point inspection. The massive GM Certified Truck and SUV Sale at Capital GMC on the corner of Rochdale and Pasqua in Regina. CapitalGMC.ca.
Hey Rider Nation, this is Dave Thomas, voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Listen to this. How does a 50-50 payday sound? Sounds like a win to me. Huddle up to riders5050.ca and you can purchase 50-50 tickets for every Rider game, home or away. You can even score quickly with the early bird prize. This week it's $2,500 cash. And you'll be in for the massive weekly jackpots. Buy now at riders5050.ca and support amateur football in Saskatchewan. Sponsored by ISC. License LR 2426.
It's 4 o'clock. Good afternoon. It's mostly sunny and it's 26 degrees in Regina. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News for Sherwood Co-op Liquor Store. Now open in Harbour Landing and on Rochdale Boulevard, and by Mercedes-Benz Regina for those who can. Mercedes-Benz-Regina.ca. Picket lines have gone up today at 6 grain terminals in Metro Vancouver. The union representing over 600 workers says it provided the employer with a comprehensive package last week and it had no counteroffer. The federal labor minister has said talks are scheduled for tomorrow. The Saskatchewan Economic Impact Assessment Tribunal's report on the oil and gas emissions cap and methane 75 highlights significant economic challenges. The tribunal analyzed compliance costs and long-term impacts on oil and gas production, investments, and revenues. Their findings indicate that the federal policies will negatively affect Saskatchewan's GDP, employment, and government revenue. The report drew from submissions by organizations and quantitative research with an independent review by Dr. Jack Mintz. Conducted under the Saskatchewan First Act, the report calls attention to the uncertainty and economic strain caused by these initiatives. Tomorrow from 6 to 10 a.m., Sask Energy will conduct controlled natural gas flaring at the Transgas block valve site near Grand Coulee. Residents and drivers may see a 40-foot flame during this time. The flaring is necessary for maintenance on the natural gas line and ensures safe service delivery. Sask Energy has informed local authorities and the process will be monitored for safety. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith says she plans to change the province's Bill of Rights this fall to reinforce the right of Albertans to decide whether or not they receive vaccinations. Smith says vaccine requirements implemented during the COVID-19 pandemic impeded on this right, something she wants to stop from happening again. She says her government plans to introduce legislation in a few weeks to reinforce medical freedoms, affirm property rights while adding the right to legally acquire, keep, and use firearms. And there are lopsided numbers in a new poll of young voters on the U.S. presidential race. Reporter Chuck Sivertson takes a look.
Vice President Kamala Harris dominates Donald Trump with voters under 30 by 17 points. That from a survey of young voters by the Institute of Politics at the Harvard Kennedy School. Among likely voters under 30, Harris leads 61% to Trump's 30%. Male likely voters support Harris 53 to 36%. Likely female voters are for Harris 70 to 23%.
Harris has at least 20-point leads on numerous major issues, and she just about ties Trump on the economy. And country music legend Johnny Cash has been honored with a statue at the U.S. Capitol.
Each state gets to place 2 statues in the Capitol, and to replace an earlier lesser-known figure, Arkansas has now sent a bronze sculpture of the Man in Black, eyes cast downward, a guitar on his back. The Air Force Band played Walk the Line, and Johnny Cash's daughter Roseanne spoke.
Words cannot come close to expressing our pride to see my dad accorded such a singular privilege.
It's the first time a musician statue has been placed in the Capitol's collection. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
That's your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Weather is next.
Sorry, summer's over. Which means the massive 3-day Sorry Summer's Over sale starts Friday at Sherwood Co-op Home Center. Save 15% off all regular priced items in store, including lumber. Home-based garage mat, 7 by 21 feet, regular $399.99. Now only $169.97. All in-stock patio furniture sets, now 50% off. Sherwood Co-op Home Center's Sorry Summer's Over sale starts Friday, 615 Winnipeg Street North. Limited quantities, no rain checks.
Style. Performance. Upgrade your daily driver to the new 2023 Mercedes-Benz GLB 250. This SUV packs a punch with features that make a normal drive exhilarating. The ultimate in automotive luxury can be yours for $419 bi-weekly. The friendly and knowledgeable staff at Mercedes-Benz Regina will help you find the exact model you want. Take a test drive and feel the difference. Stop by for an award-winning experience at Mercedes-Benz Regina, recipient of the Star Dealer Award.
And now it's time for your 620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast for Line X Regina. Serious protection, killer looks, 1865 McCarra Street, and by Wolf Industries, your truck repair specialist in Granville, servicing all sizes of trucks, SGI accredited. Tonight, clear and a low of 11. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and quite warm and breezy with a high of 30. At this hour in Moose Jaw, it's mostly sunny. Winds are from the southwest at 24, gusting to 35, and it's 28. Regina is also mostly sunny. Winds from the northwest at 22, gusting to 37, and it's 26. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to the daily newsletter at sasktoday.ca.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
Whether Smokies after you or not, when you're on the road in your big rig, you're in a hurry to get to where you're going, and you need a part shop you can trust. Wolf Industries is the premium choice. They're your family-run truck mechanic shop with a full line of parts for big semis, with certified AC technicians for the hot summer. Stop in at their Grenfell location for all the parts and repairs you need. They're SGI accredited for safety inspections and have 24-hour emergency call-out. Wolf Industries, the best for your truck. 10-4.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Sask Lotteries, bringing communities together. Sask Lottery products fund over 12,000 sports, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The all-new Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage on this Tuesday. Barney Shinkaruk, Derek Bidwell, Colson Schultz, Curtis Gammon, all here. The crew's here. It's a game?
I didn't hear you. What is it?
I wanted to give a shout out to the Nicholas Farm Sim. I don't know. Is that you said it's a game?
Farming Simulator is a video game, yes, if that's what you're referring to.
Yeah, they texted in. Thanks to everyone who's jumping in on the Capital Ford Lincoln text line with a number of different things. 936-6262. That's the one that I kind of see mostly. Somebody sent us, Roscoe sent us
Pico Train? Roscoe Pico Train is listening?
I knew you were going to say that. Pickleball Canada skill level guidelines, self-assessment. I can't make it out. I'm going to have to focus in on it. But thanks for looking out, Roscoe. You're a beauty. And then Sean says NHL 94 chat. Sean says Los Angeles and Chicago were both good teams in it. Yes, we know that they were, Sean. But there was better teams to use, and that's the thing. If we have this tournament, but there's some guys and girls that host like a massive national or world championships. We'd have to get the rulings from them and say, okay, how do you? Because you can't pick the best teams. Somehow somebody's got to pick teams. So we'll get more NHL talk, NHL 94 talk. It's 31 years since the greatest, one of the greatest video games came out.
I got a good idea for the tournament when we talk about it again later.
Okay, let's tease.
Okay.
Big tease. And there's high school football going on right now. Ball should be in the air in Melville. Esterhazy is in Melville. Yorkton's hosting Moose Jaw Peacock. Balgony. No, I'm reading the wrong day. Sorry. Don't be running to Balgony.
Boy.
Or we're at Guthridge Field. There could be just some kids playing tag there right now. Weyburn Moose Jaw, that's the game that's supposed to be going on right now, 4 o'clock. Balgony, Yorkton at Libel Field. And Swift Current Estevan, the winless team, something's got to give. Unless it's a tie, but you figured out the tie thing, Colson.
Yeah, I read SHSAAs, so Sask High School Sports Athletics Association, whatever. I read their rules.
Okay.
So, like in the CFL, you've got
Wood.
an extra time period, right? So each team gets a chance to score.
We'll call that overtime.
Yeah. So you get one overtime. Well, in the CFL, you get 2 overtime periods. In high school, you get 3 of those.
Okay.
And if it's still a tie, its next score wins. So sudden death. Which I'm like, that's kind of fun.
Whoever's possessing the ball then. That's key.
Yeah.
The thing about, and people might know this question out there, in Saskatchewan, 6-a-side, 9-a-side, or 12-a-side football, if it goes into overtime, the other massive problem is if it starts at 4 o'clock, you are running out of daylight. What happens then?
I was going to say you're running out of steam, but yeah, you're running out of daylight.
Do they put the cars around the field like, like a movie?
Hopefully.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Call the fire department, get them to put up their emergency lights.
Fire department.
There you go.
The volunteer fire department call. You can be calling a lot of people.
Yeah.
Hey, the game is there's no winner. We need light. That's
we'll
awesome,
be down there.
I love it. High school football for Regina Motor Products.
The all-new Sports Cage and Coast to Coast with Arash Madani is brought to you by Smart Investing Solutions. Be smart with your money. Call Brian Golly at Smart Investing Solutions, 546-2533.
All right, there he is. He's looks like he's out for a walk. If you're watching the stream, you see Arash Madani and some foliage behind him. What are you doing currently?
He's out for a stroll.
I'm out for a stroll at Royal Montreal. I am standing beside the 10th tee-off box. President's Cup starts Thursday.
Absolutely.
So, that's what I'm doing.
Okay, that all makes sense now. And you did tell me earlier today you're going to be at the President's Cup. So this, how do you, I guess, paint the President's Cup picture? Because it's always the Ryder Cup gets the steam. The Ryder Cup gets the hype. And then I think the next one's at Bethpage Black, which is amazing. It's going to be in New York. But when it comes to Canada, and this is the second time, I think only the second time Royal Montreal is hosting it, Arash, what's the mood like there? Is the hype real in La Belle Province?
Yeah, it is. It is. They're expecting more than 30,000 people here. And look, guys, like Scotty Scheffler's here, the world number one. The U.S. has brought their big guns out. For the first time ever, Canada has 3 representatives on the international team. And here's what's interesting. Like, I always find this interesting in golf with President's Cup, Ryder Cup, tennis with Davis Cup. These dudes 51 weeks of the year are just playing by themselves. Now they're part of a team. Like Scheffler was saying, they were out on one of the tee boxes today, and he's like talking to his teammates who he competes against on tour. Hey, how do you handle this situation? What do you do when this rolls around? And they're actually sharing info. And Scheffler is like, the most fun I've ever had in my career is doing these team events where you're in a locker room. Hey. I'm like, right, just being one of the fellas. You know?
Hey, Scotty, we're on the same team now. How the hell do you hit a ball when you move your feet so much like that? That's what I would be asking him if I was his teammate. But it is awesome because the Canadians, like you mentioned, we got Mackenzie Hughes, Corey Connors, and Taylor Pendrith, right?
Yep. And I think Mackenzie Hughes is going to be the one to watch. Like I think a year ago, if we were having this conversation, it was probably Nick Taylor. But Taylor's kind of struggled a little bit. Sorry, guys, I'm not drunk. I'm just trying to get into a media shuttle here.
I don't mind if you are anyway.
I know where it works
there
on the
you go.
cage.
But I think Mackenzie Hughes is going to be the one Canadian that Mike Weir's going to rely on. And isn't it something that Mike Weir is the captain of the international team, a guy who competed in this competition and, of course, won the Masters in 2003. So could there be a scenario where Connors emerges where Pendrith is going to be needed this weekend? Absolutely. But I think the first Canadian you're going to see come up is going to be
Mackenzie Hughes versus Scotty Scheffler has to happen because a lot of us that are in the golf world remember Tiger Woods versus Mike Weir at the Royal Montreal, and Weir took him down. It was amazing. Yeah. So Hughes and Scheffler has to happen. I think the boys on Thursday will talk to you more about the President's Cup, Arash. The other thing I want to get your take on, and a guy that's been around for a lot of years back in the day, Vince Carter. retirement in Toronto. Like out in Saskey here, basketball, no doubt huge. It's not as big. What does this mean out east for Canada in general, and NBA Canadian team?
Well, I think it's a few different things, and I know this is going to sound like an exaggeration, and it's not. Let's remember, guys, for those listening who may have forgotten, Vancouver had an NBA team.
Big country.
And they don't anymore. I wonder, if not for Vince Carter, if Toronto would have gone the way of the Dodo Bird too. Like, there was a period of about 2 or 3 years where Vince Carter was larger than life. He was a human highlight film. He was as marketable an athlete as you would find in North America because of the slam dunk contest and because, like, he would just be suspended in air. And I think for a while when the Raptors were bad and only Vince was really helping them be good, they won 1 or 2 playoff rounds the entire time he was in Toronto. It was Carter that kept this franchise going. But the bigger part today is that when you think about what the NBA means for Canada, like, or what Canada means to basketball globally, outside the United States, the country that's most represented in the NBA is Canada, like the second most. And you talk to those kids, like Tristan Thompson went up to Vince Carter one day and said, "Hey man, you were my Michael Jordan." And Vince is like, "What do you mean I was your Michael Jordan?" He didn't realize it at the time. Now we're going through the, by the way, for those watching on the stream, this is not the Blair Witch Project. There's just a bunch of trees going through the golf course.
No, it looks like when you're riding the train at Kinsman Park in Saskatoon and they go through the tunnel. It's exactly what it looks like.
Ross just went through the tunnel, everybody.
When I went through the tunnel, I came out the other side. Vince Carter is the most, he's the most influential basketball player that Canada's ever produced. That's no disrespect to Steve Nash. But you look at all these guys in the NBA today, it was Vince Carter that kind of set the foundation for so many of them to end up being what they're now.
Yeah, for those who don't remember, like Vince Carter, I mean, maybe people that are just into basketball now, some of the younger generation, they might just think as Vince Carter as this guy that just played forever, you know, like one of those pitchers like Phil Niekro that just seem to be in the league forever. But they don't remember that when he was younger, like Vince Carter, they showed the top 10 dunks of Vince Carter yesterday on TSN, and I'd forgotten some of them. They were amazing, man. And I know this isn't the same for everybody, but I remember where I was when Vince Carter won that slam dunk competition, because for me, I've always just loved the slam dunk competition. Like, I loved it when Spud Webb won. The little guy beat the big guys. I love that one, including his teammate Dominique Wilkins. But when Vince Carter won, I remember we were at the Earls in Saskatoon. We were sitting in the lounge with a bunch of people, and we started to get all excited because the guy from Toronto, we know he's not Canadian, but one of the Raptors is going to win the slam dunk competition. And everybody was kind of then turned around, and everybody turned their chairs, and everybody was watching. And then everybody caught the last few, and people were coming in from the restaurant, and everybody was just, when he had his last two, and he said, "It's over, it's over." When he was younger, Vince Carter was super exciting, man.
He was Superman. He was all those things. In that dunk contest that just put him on the global map, he also did things we'd never seen before, fellas. Like, that was a thing. Like, the dunk contest then used to matter a lot. And you know, they were a thing. Like, Kenny the Jet Smith was just losing his mind, remember? Now, it's compare eras. We always talk about that. But if that had happened in a social media world, I can't even imagine what would have happened on social. Like, it would have absolutely blown up, and the memes would have been insane if Vince was doing that today.
It seems like Arash, are you trying to lose a tail? Sorry, for people that are watching this stream, Arash is in his third vehicle. I think he's being followed. So, Arash, if you can lose that tail, you gotta step away, because if somebody's following you, you keep jumping into a different cab.
It does look like we are in the sticks of Quebec.
Jason
Bourne. The Hells Angels headquarters is just down the street, and
no free plugs.
If you know about Quebec, that's right. They run the dairy around. So we're just trying to get ourselves here, guys. That's all we're trying to do.
Okay.
I got one Vince Carter story for you guys. You talked about the slam dunk competition. It was 2017. We're watching basketball in Phoenix. My daughter was small. Kids were small. My wife. And then they're like, hey, Vince Carter. And my wife looks over at me and goes, is that like Vince Carter that played in Toronto's son? And I'm like, no, that's Vince Carter, honey. He's still playing in the league.
He's still playing. He's still in the
I think
league.
we lost Arash on the stream while he was doing his fugitive getaway in his third vehicle. So maybe we'll try and pull him back. And there he is. He's back. He's back again. Do we have him, Curtis?
Hey,
live radio. Gotta love it.
You got me loud and clear. I don't know if you can hear me.
I'm not letting you go today. I was going to call you back. I didn't care what you had for supper. I was interrupting it because we got to go to the NFL. And do you remember being on a sports radio show last week in Regina, Saskatchewan, where someone said, yeah, that's a trap game, the Raiders and the Panthers. You must have been watching that at home going, what is happening in this world?
He's thinking, I hope Barney forgot about that.
I owe you guys a bunch of pizza and a bunch of Lucky Loggers. I'll tell you that much. I do remember that.
Hey, Lucky Loggers.
Remember it well. Andy Dalton, are we serious? The Red Rocket?
Yeah.
That's why I lost
Red
that
Rifle.
Bet? Are you serious?
Red Rifle, please, not Rocket. It's called a rifle. And the funny thing is, Colson, who's not a huge NFL fan, he messages me that night and said, "Ooh, I guess it was a trap game." And then the problem of the whole thing is, where I'm an absolute pigeon, I didn't bet the game.
Oh no.
I know, what an idiot. What a complete idiot.
It would have made it so much sweeter and different.
I know. But I got the pizza and the beer from
and
Arash.
the loggers, Luckies.
So that is good. Hey, man, people are talking, though. Is he there? Minnesota Vikings. He's not. We lost it. Oh, there he is. He's back now. This is awesome.
He's back, yeah.
Montreal. Hey, the Hells Angels control the internet there too.
That's right.
It's
actually not Montreal. We're in Ile Bazar that's only accessible by one bridge, and the bridge is under construction. So I don't even know where we are at this point.
I've played that golf course, man. Those finishing holes are real. That's a real championship finish on those holes. Minnesota Vikings.
I'll let
everyone's
Scheffler
saying
know.
They are for real. The Vikings, the purple guys, they're for real, Arash.
Yeah, and there's a lot of talk about Sam Darnold, and bless him, I get it. He's had an incredible 3 weeks as quarterback. The reason the Vikings are real, guys, is because their defense is obscene. The defense has now shut down Brock Purdy in San Francisco. They've shut down C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans and the best receiving core in the NFL. Brian Flores is making quarterbacks and offenses think they're seeing things that they're not. And in the NFL, that might be one of the hardest things you can do, is continually disguise. And they're doing it. They're doing it at a high level, and that's why they're 3-0.
They made C.J. Stroud look like a lot of people thought maybe he would look in his rookie year. That defense, for real. And, man, is that a place to watch a football game? I know we had the crew there, the Engelheim crew, but, I mean, wow. That was an exciting game, and that's a place that I think it'd be easy to become a Vikings fan, especially when they're playing this well.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, here's one other thing, because Barney and I talked about this I don't know, a week or two ago when they sat down Bryce Young. And I said, Jace ruined it for everybody because it's going to be so hard to be the next CJ Stroud. Fellas, the next great NFL quarterback is here. His name is Jaden Daniels of the Washington Commanders, and he has all of it. He's got poise, he's got touch, he's got the deep ball, he's got swab, he's got confidence, and he's got his team believing in him. With 10 guys on the field, with a full blitz coming, he airs it out to Terry McLaurin, which ended up being the game-winning touchdown. Like, this guy is all of it. And last night was his coming out party for everyone to see. That was incredible.
Okay, you are moving and shaking today, and we're in and out of service. So let's give Rash the rest of the day off here, like he's going to go watch high school football in Saskey here, and then the boys will catch up with you Thursday. I'm off the rest of the week, Rash. I might actually stop up there and come and watch some of that action, Royal Montreal. That would be a good time.
Let me know when you're back. Because I got to send some pizzas.
No.
If there's anything I'm a man of my word when it comes to bets.
When you come here, we are going to do it. I'm not going to sit there and eat pizza by myself. That's no fun. I want to eat it with you and make sure that I'm going to print off the stat sheet from that game. We'll watch some highlights. It'll be like a real event. Okay, have a good one. Coast to Coast with Arash Madani live from the President's Cup in is it Ilbazard? Anyway, outside of Montreal. The Internationals taking on Team USA. That gets going here in a couple of days. Big stuff. So Arash will be back on Thursday talking with the guys, and we'll have a recap. But that's got to happen. Mackenzie Hughes, Scotty Scheffler, they're going to pair those two up in singles, I would think. Just for the hype, the ratings. It's in Canada.
Yeah.
Like I said, they did it with Weir and Woods back the last time it was there. That was epic, and Weir pulled it out. So President's Cup is on. Thanks to Brian Gawley for sponsoring Arash Madani, as always. Thanks to all of you who's chiming in on the Capital Ford Lincoln text line, chiming in on the stream at sportscage.com, and as always on 620 CKRM.
The all-new Sports Cage is brought to you by Bronco Plumbing and Heating, where professional service is guaranteed. They'll treat you right. 781-2090.
620 CKRM is your home to country's greatest hits and the 90s at 9. 1 full hour featuring the biggest hits of the 90s. Garth, Reba, Alan, Shania, George, and so much more. No cassette tape or CDs required, and 90s mullets are optional. 90s at 9 for the town of Wolseley and the voice of Saskatchewan. 620 CKRM.
Hey Rider Nation, this is Dave Thomas, voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Listen to this. How does a 50-50 payday sound? Sounds like a win to me. Huddle up to riders5050.ca and you can purchase 50-50 tickets for every Rider game, home or away. You can even score quickly with the early bird prize. This week it's $2,500 cash. And you'll be in for the massive weekly jackpots. Buy now at riders5050.ca and support amateur football in Saskatchewan. Sponsored by ISC. License LR 2426.
You get home from work, and as soon as you open the door, you realize, oh, this place smells like shocking surprise. You've got sewer problems. Let's be honest, sewer problems literally stink. You need to call someone who will get your sewer situation all sorted out. You need the sewer experts at Bronco Plumbing and Heating. They're #1 in the #2 business. Bronco Plumbing and Heating, serving Regina, Moose Jaw, and the surrounding area. 306-781-2090. Give them a call. They'll treat you right.
It's employee pricing at Crestview Chrysler, and that means you pay what we pay. It's amazing. It's exciting. It's mind-blowing. Ah! I apologize. I'm just very excited.
If you need a used or new vehicle,
you can get what I pay for a vehicle. You pay what I pay, and you don't even have to work here.
It's the best time of year for a new or pre-owned vehicle.
Right now, you pay what I pay.
You get a great deal, and you don't even have to work.
Employee pricing is back at Crestview Chrysler.
Pizza! Where's it from?
Kids, it's not delivery, it's...
No, it's definitely delivery. It's from Western Pizza. Mama's had a long day, so she ordered online, poured a glass of Happy, put her feet up, and waited for the doorbell. There's also Caesar salad, lasagna, chicken wings. Oh, I got lots, so we can have the leftovers tomorrow and the next day. Western Pizza. Big on toppings, big on taste, big on convenience. Get it delivered today.
Hi, Sean here from the Rusty Shovel. We carry a lot of inventory with a warehouse and yard full of it. Sometimes we order too much or what have you, and we need to clear it out to make room for new product. That's why we have the Rusty Shovel clearance section. To be able to match people with projects with our product we need to get rid of at a discount. Head to therustyshovel.ca, submit your info, and we'll get you some discounted product options for your project. Help us clear inventory out, and you can save some money. Make a deal today. Great projects start at the shovel.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. Get social with us. Follow us on X at Sports Cage. Watch our video stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio at 620 CKRM.
All right, Bidsy, Shank, Colson, Curtis here on Tuesday for Saskatchewan Lotteries. We're going to be joined by Les Lazaruk momentarily talking
Lester.
Western Hockey League. He'll want to chime in on the Riders for sure. Lester knows his stuff. I don't know if Lester's played any NHL 94 back in the day, if we want to talk about that.
Probably not. But if he did, maybe it was on a road trip, like when he was,
Yes.
Maybe somebody brought it along. And remember, you get into the hotel rooms and I remember some hotel rooms you could hook up a gaming system, others you couldn't, depending on how the TV was set up or the console around it or the cabinet around it. But when you were in a hotel room, then everybody would flood into one guy's room and everybody's all over the beds and it was pandemonium.
Calvin's got the thing. Let's go. You had to have the coaxial cable. You had to have access to the back of that TV to hook in and wind it up. And then it was over. And then looking back now, Mom and Dad were probably like, yes, just stay in our room because we're going to get absolutely after it in the parents' room or the hospitality
in the parents' room.
And
we're going to have 10 packs of DeMauriers in there and a whole bunch of stubbies.
Here's while we're on the subject here.
Drink beer.
Here is a hot tip. When your kids get, and you don't have to take this for what it's worth, but I'm just letting you know. When your kids get to a certain level of athletics where you're hustling and it's okay, we're here, this, and then this, and then this, and then this one, and then this one. At that point, don't book pictures. Let the pictures come to one of your games and take action shots. Because the last thing a parent wants is now to have to worry about, now I thought I had that night free, but now I got to drive Betty to get pictures. Just leave the free night. Bring the camera guy to you. Free tip. All sports managers out there today. Some of them are probably going, some of them are going, what a jerk. Like, what? But think about it. You had that night open. Especially if you have 2-3 kids, you look at it and you go, that's an open night. We might actually get just a chance to relax. And then it's like, no, you got to go drive your Rugrats to get pictures done.
Yeah, do the action shots. I agree with you. They're better. And but I love, and I have to comment on this, I love the fact that you're throwing out the names you're throwing out for the kids. You're talking about the video game room. Everybody's going crazy. Calvin. That guy's name's Calvin. I haven't heard of Calvin in a while. And then you're like, you got to take her and Betty. So Calvin and Betty. These are the popular names of children
Betty
these days.
Came from. I don't know any.
Betty and Veronica, maybe?
I know a Lester. And he's from Saskatoon. He's from the Saskatoon Blades. He's from the Saskatoon Berries. He does everything like that. He's joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Speaking of having a night to yourself, parents, order some Western Pizza if you do. And then if the kids are just running you ragged, then order it anyway because you're going to need lunch quick because you got to get one of them to pictures. Lester, the WHL, you're just agreeing with everything I'm saying.
I'm listening to you, Barney, and I'm on board with everything you're saying. Let's put it that way.
We gotta have a pizza. Speaking of that, at Sardinia's one night here, maybe in 2016, you and I up in Saskatoon. Okay, Eastern Conference Western Hockey League. You're a guy that you've seen a lot of hockey. Last year, the Blades make the run, obviously losing to the Moose Jaw Warriors in that unbelievable series. It was so good. If you were gonna power rank things less, even before, let's take the first weekend of the season out, because there's a lot of guys still at camps, not playing, this and that and the other. How would you rank it? Obviously, I think everyone's on board. Medicine Hat's number one.
Yes, Medicine Hat 1. I'll give you my power rankings,
Sure.
1 to 11, that I had before the season started. Medicine Hat 1. Number 2 is going to be Brandon. I think they're the best of the East Division, although it's going to be very tight in the East Division, I think. So they would get the second seed, hence they're number 2. I like Calgary, especially when Carter Yakimchuk comes back. They've got Ben Kindle, who played for Canada's under-18 team at the Hlinka Gretzky tournament. I think I've got them at 3. Prince Albert, 4. Then we're going to move back into the Central Division and put Red Deer in at 5, Saskatoon at 6, Moose Jaw 7, throw Edmonton, not Edmonton, nope, sorry, Lethbridge. Let's get Lethbridge in there at number 8. Number 9 would be Swift Current, 10 would be Edmonton, and I'm sorry to say at the bottom, 11 is Regina.
You don't think the Pats can grind it out? Anything's possible. Junior hockey.
Sure.
After I think the Medicine Hat Brandon, we go, okay, yeah, these guys. I watched Brandon play on Saturday. They're missing their best defenseman and their starting goalie. They're a good hockey team, no doubt about it. Pats are missing 3 players. Just too young, less still in Regina?
A little bit too young. I think a lot of the guys that are there that are returning just don't have the whatever it takes, that a little bit extra to put the team over the top just yet. I'm trusting Al Miller. If there's one thing the Pats have got going for them, it's a GM in Al Miller who's going to make the moves. And I think by January the 10th, you'll see probably Tanner Howe moved, and you're going to get some pieces, be they to help out immediately, but certainly draft picks that will help out in the future. And I know people don't want to hear about future. That sounds like rebuild time. But for the Pats, you had the Connor Bedard situation just 2 years ago, and you couldn't trade him. People are saying you should have traded him. Well, no, you couldn't, because there's money aspect involved there. The Semples, the ownership group, got massive money for him being the first overall draft pick. Don't ever forget about that. There's money involved with being a first overall pick and a first-round pick in the NHL draft. The Pats weren't going to pass that up. Secondly, they had a guy who wanted to be there. The parents wanted him to be there, and so you weren't going to trade him, or else you're going to, really upset the apple cart there with that family. So they couldn't trade him, and yet if they had, they might have been able to have accelerated their rebuild or their retooling or their next wave or whatever you want to call it. It's just been put back another couple of years because of that. So they're not quite ready to be that great team just yet, a playoff team just yet. But by trading Howe and maybe some others, I don't know who else could be traded down the line in Regina. I mean, they've got some good players, but coming together to make them a great team, Brad Haroff and Kenny Schneider, they got their work cut out for them with that group, I still think.
Les, a couple from me. First off, you're wearing a purple shirt. I can see every once in a while when you dip in and out of the camera here for those that can watch us on the stream. Yeah, there you are. Yeah. It's a Barry's shirt, but I thought maybe you were going to be like a Rashbadani and you love the Vikings. I wasn't quite sure yet. But Barry's merchandise,
I do.
Very, very hot. And you do like the Vikings.
Well, of course, I'm from Winnipeg. So what's my nearest NFL team to Winnipeg growing up? The Minnesota Vikings. Yeah. Bud Grant. Hey, I'm old enough that I remember Bud Grant coaching the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in 1966 and then moving on to the Vikings in 67 and taking them to great heights, never winning the Super Bowl, but taking them to the Super Bowl, 4 times, and losing to such teams like the Dallas Cowboys, whom I absolutely hate, the Pittsburgh Steelers, whom I absolutely hate, et cetera, et cetera. I love the Vikings, and I'm thrilled that they're 3-0, but I'm incredulous that they are because they shouldn't be. They got Sam Darnold as their quarterback. What's up with that? Makes no sense to me.
I got him fired up, like the people purple eaters, and then he got rolling on there. He went on a bit of a rant. Yeah, Sam Darnold is a bit of a mystery, but the Vikings are incredible to watch, and that stadium, as I said before, an incredible place to play. Okay, back to the rankings and your rankings, Les. What team has been the most affected by excellence, by having players graduated, move on to the NHL level, maybe before they should, in your rankings?
Ooh, maybe Moose Jaw. I mean, they'll get Braden Yeager back, but for how long? My Winnipeg Jets, and again, I'm a big Winnipeg Jets fan, have Braden Yeager now in their organization. I think he has a chance to stick around for a while, just like I think Tanner Molendyk here has a chance to stick around with the Nashville Predators for a while. There are those who believe that those two guys will stay with their NHL teams up until it's time to report to Team Canada for training camp going into the World Juniors, then get sent back to junior, and then they get shuttled off to some other team to help them out in their run to a championship this year. So Moose Jaw and Saskatoon probably get affected as much as anybody right now because of that.
Do you have another one, Bidsy? I think did you have a two-parter? Or no?
No, I didn't have a two-parter. It was just a single part. I wanted to start off with the NFL and the Barry shirt, and then I went into the rankings. Yeah, back to you.
The last time we talked, I think it's been a couple weeks or whatever, the crazy thing, and I know people are like, oh, Saskatoon, but if you're not from there, I get it, and Regina, the little bit of the rivalry, but all that. But there is a possibility, and I know it's outside, that 5 kids from Saskatoon minor hockey could play on the World Junior team this year. That is mind-blowing. Like, I think the locks definitely are Yeager, Height, and Catton, but then it's Price and Chadwick as well. Am I off there? You didn't like that?
I like the 5 names. I think Chadwick, being 19, has a better chance of being there than Catton at age 18. I think Berkeley Catton's chance to really be a big-time player for Team Canada at the World Juniors is next year. He'll probably prove me wrong because he's such a good kid. He'll probably prove me wrong and end up being there this year as one of those spectacular sort of underage guys. The World Juniors is still a 19-year-old tournament. The best 19-year-olds for the various nations are the ones that make you go. And so guys like Yeager and Molendyk and those types of people, they're the ones that are going to make this team go. Catton, yeah, he might be there. Noah Chadwick is so underrated to a lot of people, and yet there he is, a Toronto Maple Leafs draft pick, signed by the Leafs. He's doing great things at their training camp. Who knows when he comes back to Lethbridge? So that's, I think, the possibility of 5 guys from Saskatoon being on Canada's World Junior team, bring it on. Let's have it.
And then you add kid from Brandon next year with a little Roger McQueen in there, like Saskatoon minor hockey doing some amazing things, Les.
Well, and Roger McQueen might be in the mix even this year. Hockey Canada loves to be able to get a guy in there that is draft eligible that year or the coming year. And Roger McQueen is draft eligible next June for the first time. So at 6'5", he can skate, he can score. I mean, he only scored 4 on opening night at home against Moose Jaw. Why can't he be one of the Saskatoon guys that plays for Team Canada this year? He'll be 18 by then. He could be a big-time player for this team.
Yeah, well, they and Peter Anholt, right, heading things up too, a beauty Sasky guy as well. Yeah. So I know that. And then you had Tanner Howe in there, too, who took the unfortunate shot in the face at the summer development camp. That's the only thing. McQueen wasn't there. But Howe, that's the thing. I really hope he gets enough of a look going into whenever the camp starts in December and then gets another look in December because he's a heck of a player, Les, as well. His little brother is going to be amazing as well. Just hope he gets the look that he deserves.
Tanner gets the look as long as he does all the little extra things. He may not be the guy that has to score goals like he does have to for the Pats. He's going to have to be a guy that can check, that can kill penalties, that can maybe win a face-off here or there, block shots. He has to do those sorts of things, I think, in order to impress the Hockey Canada brass to be on the junior team.
Sorry, Bids. Go ahead.
I was just gonna add to that's the other thing, right? You talked a little bit about those things that have to change for a player like Tanner Howe. It's almost like when players go from being the stars that they were maybe in college, and then they go to the NFL, for example, or the CFL, and then they have to be asked to be special teams players. Like you go from being the star for wherever you are now to this group, and you just have to change your game. You have to fit in, but even Team Canada, with all of its stars, they obviously have to have role players to get another gold medal.
Yeah, that's the way it works. As you go up in level, and let's face it, going to a World Junior is a step up from what you're playing for your club team. So you can be a star on your club team, but now you're narrowing the number of players that are playing at that next level, and you have to find your niche in that. You're not necessarily going to have to be the star scorer or the big setup guy. You may have to be that defensive type of forward who blocks shots, who kills penalties, who wins faceoffs, that sort of a thing, in order to find your niche with that national team.
We have to ask you, while we have you, excuse me, Saskatchewan Roughriders. That game Friday in Calgary, they pull it out. It's been a long time since they won a game. What's your take on how this season's gone, Lester?
Well, it's been a roller coaster ride. I mean, how many close games have they been involved in? Like every game is essentially a one possession game, and a break here, win a game. Break there, you lose a game. Man, they've had some incredible luck, both good at the beginning of the year, not so good in the middle of the year. I'm just hopeful for their sake that win in Calgary that they had to have. I mean, they had to beat the Stampeders. They had to be able to beat Jake Mayer. Come on. That might be the worst quarterback in the CFL. I mean, Dave Dickinson is putting his whole credibility on the line by sending away Bo Levi Mitchell, putting him in the background and going with Jake Mayer, and now he's stubbornly continuing with Jake Mayer, and he's not getting it done. And so the Stampeders are going to miss the playoffs this year, likely for the first time in 18 years. If the Roughriders couldn't beat Jake Mayer and the Calgary Stampeders, like, who else were they going to beat?
Where do they finish?
They finished third. They're going to finish third. They're going to find a way to beat Edmonton and Calgary again. They might even upset BC. I wouldn't be surprised if they beat Ottawa. They might run the table going into the playoffs, but I also fear, though, that BC and Winnipeg are also going to start getting on runs and stay ahead of them in the standings. But I think you're going to see the Edmontons and Calgarys of the world, be left far behind.
Do you if they get that third, does your gut say it's that old, hey, it's anybody, it's a one-game showdown now in the playoffs? Can we do some Cinderella stuff here?
Yeah, you could. Sure. You could definitely do some Cinderella stuff. You're going to have to make sure, though, that your defense is on point, regardless of who you're coming up against in the BC Lions, whether it's Nathan Rourke, who looks like he's going to be the starter again this week, or if it's Vernon Adams, if Rick Campbell can't figure out which way he's going to go, which way the wind is blowing on a particular day for his quarterback. And then when you come up against Winnipeg, you have to make sure that you don't let Zach Collaros get the time he needs to be effective in throwing the ball down the field, and stop Brady Oliveira. The Riders actually do a pretty good job on Oliveira in their 3 games against them this year, I thought, with the exception of covering him coming out of the backfield and catching passes.
Like you said, the games were so close. They were one-possession games. It's a totally different story. It's crazy. Okay, before we let you go, Bidsy and I were kind of debating this, and I think you heard. Did you ever play back on the road when you were young in your broadcast days? Ever play Genesis NHL 94?
No, I actually never did. See, again, my age is something where the first video game that came out was Pong.
Yes.
And it was so bloody boring that I stopped by playing video games. So I'm just not a video game guy.
You know what? I like Bidsy and I were talking about that, and I said, yeah, maybe. But then Bidsy brought up a good one. Maybe he was on the road once and somebody had it, and he tried it out. He's like, let me take the Winnipeg Jets. But yeah, okay. I guess there's our answer.
No,
Les Lazaruk never played.
I've seen a lot of kids use it. Back in the day. But no, I never got involved. Not my cup of tea.
He was going to the hotel lobby bar there where they were going to discuss everything that happened or is going to happen, depending if it was the day before. Yeah.
Mooner and I and Jerome Engel and all the rest of us going down there and solving the world's problems.
Yeah.
We solved a lot of the world's problems on those trips, let me tell you.
Hotel lobby bar.
One ice cube and a whiskey. I love it. Yeah. Lester, always a pleasure. Let's catch up again here in a few weeks. When you're in town, let us know. I want to come up to the old booth and see you.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't remember when we're in Regina next, but hey, we'll look forward to seeing both of you guys down the line. Take care, guys.
See you on the golf course before the end of the year.
That would be nice.
Les Lazaruk, voice of the Saskatoon Blades, voice of the Saskatoon Berries, just an all-around awesome human, and knows his stuff when it comes to sports, Bidsy, all around the province. And then, he cut his teeth over there, and he's a Manitoba guy, a Winnipeg guy. So, I kind of like what he says. I don't know, though, about the Pats being that low. If you go to sportscage.com, you will see our WHL Eastern Conference rankings for this week. And we have the Regina Pats at 8. So they're moving up 3 spots after maybe that opening night win up in Prince Albert, although they ran into the Brandon juggernaut the night after at home. So it's there on sportscage.com, just like if you're watching the stream right now. And we are on 620 CKRM.
Water heater and water softener rentals are now available at Bronco Plumbing, Heating and Cooling. Instead of paying big money up front, you can rent a water heater and water softener directly from Bronco without the worry or hassle. They have a long history of renting water heaters and water softeners, and they're maintenance-free. Bronco comes and does all that for you. Saskatchewan's best water heater rentals are from Bronco. Call 306-781-2090. Professional, courteous service. BroncoPlumbing.com.
This is Roy Rutledge at the Weyburn Livestock Exchange. Our next cattle sale here in Weyburn is this Wednesday, September 25th. This will be a regular sale of cull cows and cull bulls, both of which are selling well, probably because there are not many on the market yet. If you have butcher cows or bulls to market at this time of year, this will be the sale to bring them to. Just call the Weyburn Livestock Exchange to get them booked in. Call us at 842-4574. Then next Monday, September 30th, we will be having a pre-sorted calf sale featuring mainly Semadol and Charolais Cross calves. It is that time of year, again, when the fall run is starting. It is the first calf sale, and it is not full, but it probably won't fill up because it's so early in the fall. But prices are good, and some of the later sales are full already. October 23rd and 28th and November 4th are all full already. To book your cattle, call the Weyburn Livestock Exchange at 842-4574.
I hate when my power's out. It doesn't matter if it's a storm, accident, or planned outage. Losing power is frustrating. But you can keep your lights on with a Generac standby generator from Croft Electric. Even when your neighbors are sitting in the dark, a Generac standby generator can power your home. Don't let power outages ruin your day. Get your home a Generac standby generator from Croft Electric. Financing now available. CroftElectric.com.
Time is running out. The final deadline in the Rough Rider and Children's Hospital Foundation's lottery is this Friday. Don't miss your chance to win big. There's 10 incredible grand prizes, including your best chance to win $1 million. Imagine driving away in a luxury vehicle, jetting off on a dream vacation, or scoring fantastic rider prizes. But hurry, the final deadline is this Friday. Help Saskatchewan kids to get your tickets now at riderschildrenslottery.ca. Lottery license LR240034. Please play responsibly.
Witness champions rise, legends reborn, and history rewritten. The Canadian Finals Rodeo returns to Edmonton just in time for its 50th year from October 2nd to 5th at Rogers Place. The roar of the arena will echo once more. Tickets are now available at CFR.ca. The Canadian Finals Rodeo, back and bigger than ever.
The all-new Sports Cage. Watch our live stream at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome back, Shink and Bidsy here with you on this Tuesday. Rider football back Saturday right here on 620 CKRM. The Croft Electric Countdown to Kickoff starts at 10 a.m. We have Dave and Luke joining the pregame show at noon, and then kickoff is at 1 o'clock. We heard from him earlier. Dave Thomas was on the program. We heard from Coach Mace. We'll hear from him again a little bit later. But Adam O'Clair, Dave had a chance to talk to him, and he basically says a win's a win. We got the W.
Mr. O'Clair, how nice is it not to have to say, oh, boy, we're in the middle of a streak, finally to get that win? How good is it?
It feels so good to have the win. It wasn't perfect, especially defensively. We did a couple mistakes, but, man, all matters right now is the win, and that's why we are trying to do this week. I mean, 1-0.
What does it say about the character and the mentality in the dressing room right now when you're able to respond after all of that adversity and not getting the result, and then what happened at practice last week? What does that say about this group?
That's crazy, to be honest with you. Most of the time when a team is losing like that, people start pointing at each other. So it's just good that didn't happen here, and we're ready to win against Ottawa this week.
So what is the focus right now? I know going 1-0, but defensively, what do you need to do? How can you clean up those small mistakes that hurt you against Calgary?
It's just going back to the basics, to be honest. Sometimes it's just alignment, just before even the snap. So that's what we're doing. That's why we are doing a lot of walkthroughs before practice, and we're going to clean all this stuff.
Now, you are a leader in this group. You're a veteran. You've been through this before. How do you make sure that you stay focused on the now and not looking ahead? Because obviously there's all kinds of playoff ramifications. There's all kinds of things happening.
To be honest with you, it's going to sound cliche, but we control what we can control. And this week it's to be 1-0 against Ottawa. And nothing else matters right now. We cannot control what's happening outside of our team. What we can control, though, is doing the small things to get better and be ready to get that dub.
You're not going to like this one, but everybody all week is going to ask you, what's it like coming up against Ottawa? I know you were excited to go back there earlier this season. Is that all behind you now?
It's all behind me. I mean, what game are we right now? Game 13, game 14? So it doesn't matter. Yeah, I know a couple of guys there, but when the ball is snapped, I don't have any friends on the other team, and all that matters is winning the play, winning the game. That's it.
I know how important it is to this team to protect this house. It hasn't happened the last couple of games. How do you get back to that?
Get back to that, as I said, focus on the basic, work together as a group, and make sure that the special teams, offense and defense, play together, and we're going to be fine.
Did you watch any of the tape from the offense last week in that running performance by Raquel Armstead?
Yeah, I was on the sideline. I was watching the offense the whole game, and that was pretty amazing to have that running game. So I'm happy for them, and let's make sure that the things keep rolling for them.
Adam, appreciate this. All the best this week.
Thank you.
Yes, all the best this week. Ottawa coming to town. Like I said, game is right here on 620 CKRM. 1 o'clock kickoff. Let's go out on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Let's talk to our friend from Flowing Springs. A little golf talk here. Brian Raymond. We were hoping to have someone on from Candle Lake Golf Course. Unfortunate news out there, Brian, and you running a golf course and all that. It's sad to see what happened there.
Oh, you know what? We saw the video of that yesterday morning when it first popped up that it was happening, and that is so sad. It's a great facility, and you feel bad for the people whose jobs might be in jeopardy for a little while. But fortunately, I guess the hotel part was saved, and the golf course is still in operation. And obviously, they must have a pro shop there that's still working. So good on them. But that is terrible. I mean, it's really a shame.
Over at your place, it was an unbelievable day out there today. The golf course must have been buzzing.
It was buzzing, and you know what? We're in for a whole week now, and maybe more of really, really nice weather. And but the days are still getting shorter, and we know that there is going to be a termination at some point in time for the season, and it's best to get out as soon as you can, as long as you got time.
That's what they say about me. A termination is coming at some point. Just don't know when. What are the specials you got out there, Brian?
Every Monday and every Wednesday, women and seniors, people over 60, pay for $37. Every day after 3 o'clock, it's $38. Every day after now 5 o'clock, it's $22. You can still get 9 holes in, so you have to hustle a bit, but you can still get it in. And if you're a senior, our regular rate for seniors is $48. And one of the things we forget about is we have a youth rate too of $35 for anybody who's 18 and under.
There you go, $35 to get the kids out there golfing, and everyone can book online or call, right, Bri?
That's right. Give us a call, 306-543-5050, or you can book online at flowingspringsgolf.com.
Right on, Brian. Have a good rest of the week. I hope it's busy for you. Talk to you next week.
Okay, buddy. Take care.
Brian Raymond, Flowing Springs Golf Course. It is the all-new Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com, and as always on 620 CKRM.
Winter brings tougher driving weather, and that means it's time to winter up those tires on your vehicle. Regina Motor Products has got an offer that will make your ride safer and your wallet happier. Before you hit the snowy open road, get your tires swapped for winter with rebates as high as $120 off a full set of winter tires. You don't want to wait. Book now and be ready for all that cold stuff. Visit rmpchevrolet.com.
Are you afraid of losing your car or home due to debt? Don't let fear or shame hold you back from seeking help. Bankruptcy is not the only option. A consumer proposal can reduce your monthly payments, lower your overall debt, and allow you to keep your assets. My name is Jasmine Brown. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Regina, and I'm here to help you tackle your debt. Take the first step towards regaining control of your finances. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
Hey, neighbor.
Hey, Otto. Where are you off to?
Taking my car to Moose Jaw Truck Shop for a checkup. It's my third one this year, so with their new rebate program, I get cash back. Other perks too, and cookies.
They love their community at Moose Jaw Truck Shop and want to reward their loyal customers with rebates. Bring in your vehicle for preventative maintenance 3 times a year and get cash back in September and February, plus other perks. Learn more at moosejawtruckshop.com.
The Saskatchewan Roughriders are getting ready for the Saskatchewan game presented by Sega September 28th at 1 as the Riders face the Red Blacks. Halftime will feature a performance from Indigenous dancers. Coors Light Party of the Park kicks off at 10 a.m. with Tegan Little Chief and her band. And postgame will feature fans on the field. Support youth Indigenous sport by purchasing Orange Jersey raffle tickets starting September 16th for a chance to win a signed orange jersey by visiting Riderville.com. The Saskatchewan game presented by Sega versus the Red Blacks September 28th.
Good evening. It's mostly sunny and it's 27 degrees in Regina. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News for Echo Sound and Fort Qu'Appelle. Stay connected with the new cell phone from Echo Sound. Call 306-332-6711. Picket lines have gone up at 6 grain terminals in Metro Vancouver as about 600 workers begin a strike. However, the federal labor minister says both sides in the dispute have agreed to talk alongside federal mediators.
Stephen McKinnon posted the message on social media, saying Canadian farmers had a bumper crop and they need to get it to market. Union President Douglas Leah Smith says the Vancouver Terminal Elevators Association had not meaningfully engaged over a dozen days of bargaining. He says the major sticking point in talks relates to earned time-off days. It's the first time the union has gone on strike since 1970. Terry Theodore, The Canadian Press, Vancouver.
A new study by the University of Ottawa reveals that 84% of Saskatchewan education workers experienced violence, while 87% faced harassment during the 2022-23 school year. The study, involving teachers and support staff, emphasizes the lack of resources contributing to rising violence, which has become normalized. The Saskatchewan Teachers Federation and CUPE are urging the government to increase funding and staffing levels to address this growing issue, as the majority of respondents felt that current institutional responses to violence and harassment were ineffective, leaving them burnt out and dissatisfied with their jobs. A new memorandum of agreement between eHealth Saskatchewan and SGEU Local 1579 has been finalized, bringing annual wage increases of 3%, 3%, and 1.67%. The agreement, effective from October 1st, 2022 to September 30th of next year, covers around 650 employees who provide IT, administrative, and health support services across Saskatchewan. Health Minister Everett Hindley commended both sides for their efficient negotiations and swift ratification. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is making the case for bringing down the Liberal government in the House of Commons today. Poilievre is asking other members of Parliament to vote non-confidence in Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's government and trigger an early election.
This will be a carbon tax referendum, a carbon tax election. And I know that the media has worked hard to try and avoid me saying the words carbon tax.
A vote on Poilievre's motion is set for tomorrow, and it appears that it will fail, as the Liberals, NDP, and Bloc Québécois all plan to vote against it. And Kmart is closing its last full-scale store in the United States.
Located in swank Bridgehampton, New York on Long Island, the Kmart is slated to close on October 20th. That will leave only a small Kmart store in Miami. There's also a handful of stores in Guam and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Transform Co. bought the assets of Sears and Kmart out of bankruptcy of Sears Holdings in 2019. In its heyday, there were more than 2,000 Kmarts in the United States. Struggling to compete with Walmart's low prices and Target's trendier offerings, Kmart filed for bankruptcy protection in early 2002, becoming the largest U.S. retailer to take that step. and it announced it would close more than 250 stores. I'm Haya Panjwani.
That's your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Weather is next.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when... Uh-oh.
There are some things that can get spoiled. A sunny day, maybe.
Aw, and no umbrella or anything.
And then there's Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer, where they have all the top-of-the-line smartphones with all the latest features. With such a wide selection and so many great plans, nothing can spoil it.
Yay, rain!
Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Fort Capel. EchoSound.ca.
I'm Corey Atkinson with your 620 CKRM Precision Weather, brought to you by Line-X Regina. Serious protection, killer looks, 1865 McCarra Street, and for Matt's Furniture. Visit mattsfurniture.ca. Now here's Precision Weather meteorologist Steve Adamson.
A rather quiet spell of weather ahead for us for the duration of the week, and a period that's going to be rather warm too. In fact, unseasonably warm for a few days. No rain in the forecast, it looks like, right through Saturday. Tonight's weather has mainly clear conditions about the area, the low temperature near 11. Wednesday, mostly sunny skies, quite warm and breezy, the high temperature reaching 30. Wind gust up to 50 out of the south. Clear skies for Wednesday night, the low temperature near 15. Thursday, mostly sunny skies, not quite as warm, but still a rather pleasant day all in all. Breezy, the high near 24. Friday, mostly sunny skies, the high temperature about 26. And Saturday, mostly sunny skies and a few degrees cooler, the high near 22. With your 620 CKRM weather forecast, I'm Precision Weather Meteorologist Steve Adamson.
Across the province at this hour, Saskatoon is 27, Swift Current and Assiniboia are both 28, Yorkton Melville 25, Moosomin Broadview 25, Estevan 25, and Weyburn is 26. At this hour in Moose Jaw, it's mostly sunny, winds from the west at 22, gusting to 41, and it's 28. Regina is also mostly sunny, winds from the southwest at 25, gusting to 36, and it's 27. For more local news that matters to you, subscribe to the daily newsletter at sasktoday.ca.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line-X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line-X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line-X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line-X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line-X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
He's at it again. Matt's sharpening his pencil to save you more money at Matt's Furniture. Want to level up your washer and dryer pair with Maytag? Get the Maytag top load washer and electric dryer set with wrinkle prevention for $1,598. Or get the larger Maytag washer and electric dryer set with quick dry cycle, just $24.98. Purchase either and get a free year supply of Swash detergent. See in store for details. Matt's Furniture in Fort Capel, Kamsack, Melville, and Foam Lake, or online at mattsfurniture.ca.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents the all-new Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Sask Lotteries, bringing communities together. Sask Lottery products fund over 12,000 sports, culture, and recreation groups across Saskatchewan. Be a part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936. 6262. The all-new Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Barney Shinkaruk, Derek Bidwell, Colson Schultz, Curtis Gammon on this Tuesday. Sports Cage. Maybe you're out cruising to one of the high school football games or watching one of the high school football games that we ran down. Some Tuesday night affairs out there today. It's Weyburn, Moose Jaw and Weyburn, Balgony, Yorkton at Libel, Swift Current, Estevan, and Swift Current, the winless teams. I got a picture from one of the officials at that game that's sent in, getting ready for that one. Oh, and then what was the other one? Esterhazy, Melville started at 4:00 in Melville. Sun setting, yeah. Beautiful prairie night for football right now. A little high school action. Still more to come on the program. We are going to talk Saskatchewan Rush a little later on. We're going to hear from Coach Mace of the Saskatchewan Roughriders as well. And it is Tuesday, and it is 5 o'clock. It's time to talk to our guy on the West Coast.
The all-new Sports Cage with CFL and Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Glenn Ender is brought to you by Quality Tire. With 9 locations across Saskatchewan, visit qualitytire.ca.
There he is. If you're watching the stream, you see a fresh-shaven Glenn
Yes, sir.
Suter. Yeah, the last couple times you're a little disgruntled at yourself. Let's get right into it. Friday night in Calgary, I talked to Luke Mullender before the game, and it's just like, Shink, the start is so key. The start, we got to start fast. And then I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh, the exact opposite. This isn't good at all. But Glenn, and you probably want to go with Armstead, right? And what he does, a few practices under his belt, he rattles off over 200 yards. No one really was expecting probably that.
No, not 200 yards. I certainly didn't expect that. I thought a 100-yard game was definitely possible, more than possible, in that, he's a real talent. I mean, the things he's had off the field aside, this guy is a serious talent. So, I wouldn't have been surprised at all with 120, 150, and they win the game, based on a strong run game. But to get to 200 and to dominate the way they did, that was another level. I hope that Rock now can put aside all of his I'm going to show you feelings. They got Ottawa next, so it's going to be tempting for him to want to try and rub it in. And I don't mean don't be motivated by the chance to beat Ottawa, but the doing it because you want to pay someone back or show someone they were wrong, or that can kind of catch up to you. So I just hope that he keeps it on the rails and continues just be a good teammate and a professional, and just go to work every day, do your job. He'll be more familiar with the playbook in week 2 for him, second week, and expect good things the rest of the way from him.
The thing,
because this could really. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Chink.
No, you go. Fire, Bidsy.
I was just going to say, the thing about this that could really get it going, I think, suits for the Riders in the right direction, is if he can use this as positive motivation, of course, and
right.
Whether he wants to give it to his former team or whether he just wants to show everybody they were wrong about him, but, just stay in his lane and just stay positive in the locker room. And maybe this could be the spark, along with guys coming back that were injured, that could really be the difference for the Riders moving forward for the rest of the regular season.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I mean, first of all, with the the locker room thing, and it's so true that sooner or later, if your motivation is always to go after someone who you think did you wrong, it really brings you into the gutter. It's what's the old saying that if you get into the gutter and start slinging mud, all that happens is everyone gets muddy, and really,
I love it.
He doesn't. He doesn't need to do that. He doesn't need to prove to anybody anything. He can just be a professional, be a leader, go out and do his job and do it well. And that will be, that by his actions will be showing the other team that they made a mistake. Don't get me wrong. He will be motivated to beat Ottawa. And there will be times when he looks over there, and I'm sure he's looking right at Bob Dice. And he's got something on his mind, but what he doesn't need to do is take it so far that it is a distraction to him mentally or to any of his teammates that have to maybe corral him and bring him back or anything like that. So that's what I hope we see, because he's such a great talent. And wow, did they ever control the line of scrimmage? I think I telestrated some O-line blocking on that broadcast more than I have all season long, because there was some nice holes for him too.
The one thing, Glenn, I think going back to the game that was positive and a lot of people are talking about is the Riders look to finally finish a football game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, finish it. And there, the other thing that I thought it showed was some discipline moments where they didn't get sucked into retaliation and things like that when it got physical, a little pushing here and there after whistles and stuff. That's a key. And not that they're perfect, but that's important because Calgary has had an issue with that over the last 3 or 4 weeks, and it kind of caught them again. But, it also illustrated, I thought, how accurate when you give Trevor Harris a running game and a little bit of time to throw. You don't even have to be the best O-line in the business because he recognizes coverages so quickly. He's been around a long time. But his accuracy on seam routes, dig routes at about 15, those little benders that come over the middle.
Yeah.
And he has to put it between two linebackers and just, knife it through there. His accuracy on that is as good as anyone in the league, maybe the best in the league, and he doesn't get enough credit for it. Give him a little time in a run game, and Trevor Harris can take you to the promised land. That's not a prediction, by the way. I don't make predictions.
Yes.
You guys
no. We're chalking it up on the prediction board.
Put it
number
on the
one
predictions board
for Glenn
there,
Suter. We broke
I'm going to mark it down right now.
We have one. The thing about Harris, and maybe this is me just kind of being a little crazy and looking too deep into it, but the weather in Calgary on Friday night was less than ideal. It was kind of cold. It was windy. It was gross out. A lot of people stayed at home for it. If we can get into the playoffs and play outside somewhere, maybe it is Edmonton, maybe it is, wherever, Winnipeg, here. I like how he looked in that weather, like you said, slinging it around the field like he was throwing it in Miami.
Yeah. And again, the timing and accuracy on some of those throws. I think about the Schaefer Baker catch too, down at the goal line, and how accurate he was on that throw. And yeah, that in combination, if you're going to Winnipeg, let's just say if you looked at the standings now and it ended right now, Winnipeg's hosting the West Final, so they go to BC and play in the semi indoors. And then they'd go to Winnipeg and play with a run game, a solid run game, one that, if he stays on the rails, one that Rock could, really compare to Brady Oliveira. And that's saying something. I mean, there's a 3 years in a row he's been over 1,000 yards. So, if you match the run game, you give Trevor a little bit of time, he's as good as Zach, and they were both teammates at one time, as you guys know.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Go ahead, Bid. Sorry.
Okay, I was just going to say, besides the Rock and Raquel Armstead's, angle or storyline into this one, tell us what we could expect from Ottawa. Maybe something that we can watch there, or something that might be a glaring storyline on their side coming into this one.
Well, they have gone with their, it sounds like, and I don't want to jump the gun here because Drew Brown was in a boot apparently at practice today. So it sounds like Ottawa will go with Jeremiah Masoli, which, it's almost a pick your poison there, because Masoli is not only a guy who, before he had his last injury, I think many were saying he was on an MOP pace, then he got hurt, and it took him a long time to come back. And now he's, motivated to a high level to show everybody that he should be a starter, if not in Ottawa somewhere. So, that's their challenge defensively. And, hopefully they get their full crew back in the defensive backfield, the playmakers back there, including Roland. Not sure about that update just yet. You guys may know better, but yeah, that's the challenge for Ottawa. They get them at home, though. So, because Ottawa has been very good when they're at home. So the Riders get them at home this time. Yeah. Exactly.
What is going on in Edmonton with the quarterback situation? Are they going to keep flipping it back and forth like it's amateur football, and we got to have the fair play thing here, or the parents will get mad?
Yeah. Well, Barney said that, not Glenn. But I want to be clear so that anyone on social media say Suter said they're playing amateur football in Edmonton. But I will. It's an interesting. It's an interesting discussion, because what the BC Lions are doing right now is sort of paralleling what the Edmonton Elks have, their same decision. So Nathan Rourke doesn't play well against Winnipeg. He gets pulled and they put in VA. They go back to Nathan Rourke because they believe Nathan's their starter. Nathan's going to be their future long term. I don't think they're going to trade Vernon Adams. I know there's probably teams that have inquired, probably kicked the tires there, but I don't think they're going to trade him. Rick Campbell has said he wants both of them all season long. They may see what they can do at the end of the year, but not during the year. Having said that, it's very similar situation in Edmonton, and the only difference that I can see from the outside, this isn't talking to them directly, but from the outside, the only thing I can see is they don't believe really in Trey Ford, because if they did, they'd go back to Trey. They'd say Trey is going to be our future. Trey is going to be our guy. Like, I'm not even sure right now at this point, and we've got reporters at TSN that are trying to dig into this, and I'll update the listeners as soon as I know. But whether or not the agent for Trey Ford is talking to the team right now or not, and if they are talking about a long-term contract or a contract extension, because he's a free agent at the end of the year, and benching him after not playing great against a Winnipeg defense that Nathan Rourke didn't play very good at twice, that, a lot of quarterbacks haven't played very well against, and then not giving him a chance the next week to go back and continue to grow and build and learn from the last mistake and move forward like you would if you had a franchise player. I mean, what do they think of Trey Ford is the question to me. What is the management and coaching staff in Edmonton? How do they classify Trey Ford? Is he their future? Is he their guy they want to invest big time in financially? Or is he a guy that they're okay with letting walk at the end of the season as a free agent? I think it's incredibly intriguing to see how they handle this. And it might be tied directly to whether or not they bring Jarius Jackson back. Because if this backfires and Trey Ford's tattooed to the bench and he's just going back and forth trying to figure out, who might get hot, I don't think that bodes well for him returning in Edmonton. Again, that's not from hearing anything insider type stuff. That's just from what I'm observing from the outside.
Suits, we're talking about the CFL Power Rankings, and some people now have Hamilton as number 3 or 4 in the rankings. And at the start of the year, of course, everybody was thinking, well, they're out of it. The Ticats are out of it, but Bo Levi Mitchell pulls a Dumb and Dumber and totally redeems himself. And, man, has he been looking good, the veteran, of course. And now he's got Hamilton playing really well, and, of course, he's playing really well. So just a little bit from you on the veteran coming back and redeeming himself and playing so well lately.
Yeah, well, when Taylor Powell got hurt and he got a second opportunity, because it looked like in Hamilton they were kind of done with Bo Levi Mitchell. It looked like, again, outside looking in, that they were saying, we're moving on, we're going to go with the young guy, we're going to see what we got here. And then he got hurt, and Bo got another chance. And he's made the best of it. And here's the thing. I was just looking at the standings and the schedule, the remaining schedule. And just like if you look at that Bo game in Toronto against a very good Toronto defense with Wynton McManus back at middle linebacker, by the way, and playing as well as he played, Hamilton has BC, Winnipeg, a bye, Calgary, and then Ottawa. That's how they finished the season. They are still in position to cross over. If Saskatchewan and Edmonton play against each other, so one team's going to lose that, one team's going to win that. But again, they have to look over to the other division now because Hamilton is hot, Bo is back, and if they continue to play, and Chris Jones, I'll give him a little credit here. I've always said Chris Jones is a great coordinator. I'm not sure as a head coach, but he's a great coordinator. And I think he's making a difference with that defense in Hamilton as well.
Jeez, Lou, you just blew my mind with the crossover thing the other way.
It's possible.
I'm gonna need some time here to really let that sink in. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be?
I got a nosebleed already thinking of the scenarios.
Wouldn't that be a thing? Oh, mama. Who would, if it ended right now, Glenn, and we kind of talked about if the season ended and this team would play this team and all that, who would be your most outstanding player?
That's a great question because it's I don't think. I think all the guys that you'd put on the list right now, you could make an argument that, it's probably not MOP status yet. I mean, Roland Milligan is one. Tyrese Beverett are two defensive players, but the argument there is, well, when was the last time a defensive player won MOP? It almost never happens. So then you go to, okay, so which quarterback are you playing? Maybe Cody Fajardo, but
maybe.
I don't know
Sat
if
out
it's
a lot, yeah.
Yeah, and is it MOP numbers? I'm not sure if it's MOP numbers. And then if Brady Oliveira finishes strong and leads the league, possibly Brady Oliveira is in the conversation. And then you have offense versus defense. And even though Roland Milligan, I think, has had a season that certainly deserves that consideration, and same with Beverett in Montreal. But those two guys are still on the defensive side of the ball. And I'm just talking about reality. It's not really what it should be. It's kind of like what it is. And what it is a lot of people don't vote for defensive players in the MOP category. They just don't. They take the guys that get the headlines and the touchdowns.
Has a kicker ever won it?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. There was that 1 year where everything... Yeah, I was going to say, there's that 1 year where everything went off the rails.
Hold on, one at a time here. You're both talking at the same time. You both want to heckle me. I love it. No, I had to throw that out there. Okay, Glenn, when we look at I'm not going to be able to talk to you because I'm off for the rest of the week here. But I'm going to you look at every matchup. I don't know which one is the most intriguing matchup this weekend. Like, you look across the board, and you'd probably a week ago say, well, Hamilton and BC. But now with what Hamilton's doing, it's like, okay, that's an interesting one. Edmonton in Winnipeg, obviously Ottawa, Saskatchewan, and then Montreal, Toronto.
Yeah, like, what is Toronto? I mean, that's a question, that I think needs to be, like, what are they? They look dominant in 1 minute and then not so at all in another. So that's an intriguing one. I cannot figure out the BC Lions right now. They're going back to Nathan without hesitation there. And I expected that, and I think he'll play better, and I think he'll continue to play better as the season finishes off here. But is that enough? Do they have enough on defense? That's one that is intriguing. Is Bo going to stay at his level? Over the last 3 weeks, he's been as good as any quarterback in the league, and he's leading the league in passing. And he's been pulled this year. There is so much parity in the league right now, especially in the West, that you look at. That's why the MOP discussion is so difficult, because there is so much parity and it's so close. And also what is the most important, biggest game? And I think if you look at it, probably divisional games, but Winnipeg and Edmonton are different ends of the Western division. So, it is for the season series, but there's almost no chance that the Elks are going to be in a season series issue with the Bombers. That's not going to happen. Now, can the Elks be caught by Hamilton if they stay on a roll? Absolutely. So can Saskatchewan. And that's where I think the Hamilton Lions game is big. And I'll also say, watching Nathan and seeing how he bounces back is intriguing in itself. And if I'm overselling BC Hamilton, it's because that's the game I'm doing this week.
No, that's hey, you got to sell. You got to sell it. Okay, before we let you go, boys, I just want to let you know I looked up on I don't know how I found it, but I looked up on a gambling site, and the most outstanding player, the best odds by far, is Cody Fajardo.
Wow. Okay.
Followed by
again,
second is second and third have the same odds at plus 1150, and I wouldn't have put both of those guys there as well. It's Vernon Adams and Nathan Rourke. Most outstanding player, Nathan Rourke. Wow.
Yeah, I don't think Nathan's played enough to be in that discussion right now or yet, or played well enough yet. I think the sky's the limit on Nathan for sure, and I'm a huge fan. But I haven't. It hasn't happened yet. A couple of games, but not yet.
Great value if you want to make some big scratch. And Roland Milligan does pull it out. There's real nice value there, plus 3,500. So,
but doesn't that validate the point that odds makers, media that vote for MOP, they're always gravitating towards offense to a point where they're putting in two quarterbacks that haven't even played half a season. Yeah.
Do you vote for this?
I do. Yeah, I don't vote like. The issue on some teams is that you might not come out of your own team. In other words, the local media votes in their market, and then they have their nominee. So that's why last year Zach Collaros, who probably might have got a lot of votes nationally, didn't get a chance to because they nominated Brady Oliveira out of Winnipeg. Yeah. Gotcha. So once the nominees are out, then I vote.
We took a little bit extra of your time today, Glenn.
No problem.
It's always a blast. Like I said, I'm not going to talk to you for the rest of the week, so I'm trying to take in as much Glenn as I can on this Tuesday. Have a good one the rest of the week, and we'll catch up next week and see where the chips fall. Yeah, there's some intriguing matchups.
Sounds good, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, on press coverage with Glenn Suter for Quality Tire, 9 locations across Saskatchewan. Time for a quick break. When we come back, we are going to talk Saskatchewan Rush. We got some hockey talk still to come. And, of course, Bidsy and I are going to debate on something. Huge debate coming up. All new Sportscage and sportscage.com. And, as always, on 620 CKRM.
The all-new Sports Cage is brought to you by Busy Bee Doors. Busy Bee will repair or replace your residential or commercial garage doors so you don't get stuck in or out. Catch the buzz. Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
Hey Rider Nation, this is Dave Thomas, voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Listen to this. How does a 50-50 payday sound? Sounds like a win to me. Huddle up to riders5050.ca and you can purchase 50-50 tickets for every Rider game, home or away. You can even score quickly with the early bird prize. This week it's $2,500 cash. And you'll be in for the massive weekly jackpots. Buy now at riders5050.ca and support amateur football in Saskatchewan. Sponsored by ISC. License LR 2426.
Did you know it's the best time of year to buy your Claws 2025 equipment? Get incredible savings with early order offers, like $20,000 off Lexion combines, $15,000 off Xerion tractors, $10,000 off Axion tractors, $15,000 off Jaguar harvesters, and $6,000 off Arion tractors. Make the best of every harvest with Claws, made for more. For full products and availability, visit claws.com.
Tiny toppings and cardboard-flavored carbs are not what you get when you order from Western Pizza. But they haven't just perfected pizza. No, my friend, add Caesar salad to that list, along with satisfying garlic toast, baked lasagna, crispy chicken wings, and every other item on their extensive menu. Western Pizza makes food for hungry people. So if you're only kinda sorta hungry, you should invite more people. Western Pizza, big on toppings, big on taste.
First Nations University of Canada invites you to join their annual Smudge Walk to honor the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation on September 27th at the First Nations University of Canada, Regina campus. The day starts with a pipe ceremony at 8 a.m. and the walk through the First Nations University of Canada and University of Regina campuses begins at 9:30. Presentations and special announcements will follow with a community lunch on campus at noon. The first 200 people attending will receive an orange Every Child Matters t-shirt. We hope to see you there.
620 CKRM and the Sportscage are proud to be the voice of sports in Saskatchewan. Join the Sportscage for the monthly Fries Tallman Indigenous Athlete Showcase, highlighting builders, athletes, and coaches who have had an impact on Indigenous sports across the province. Fries Tallman Lumber in Regina and Fort Qu'Appelle is proud to support programs to uplift First Nations across Saskatchewan. The Fries Tallman Indigenous Athlete Showcase, exclusively on the Sportscage on 620 CKRM.
From the Sask Today newsroom, here's what's making news in Saskatchewan.
Make sure you're registered to vote in the upcoming provincial election. Make your choice, have your say, and cast a ballot.
Sask Today's team of local journalists are on the ground in communities across Saskatchewan, focusing on local topics that matter to you. Visit and bookmark sasktoday.ca and sign up for our daily news digest. sasktoday.ca. Everybody has a story. From Harvard Media, everywhere.
Welcome back to the all-new Sports Cage. Get social with us. Follow us on X at Sports Cage. Watch our video stream at sportscage.com and always on the radio at 620 CKRM.
We want you to email us in hi@sportscage.com if you got a Friday night lights game that we should have our eyeballs on this week. We're talking high school football, whether it's the 12-a-side, 9-a-side, or 6-a-side. Please let us know so we can hype it for the kids. We can do all that. We can't do it without you. The people in Cupar Southie have been amazing this year. Ituna, we had a Shaunavon, we had the Esterhazy Melville today. Friday Night Lights every Friday is always brought to you by Regina Motor Products, where you can get $20 off your tire changeover at RMP. Okay, Bidsy. We're going to talk Sask Rush here in a bit. We talked NHL 94 Genesis, 31 years for that hockey game. Here is a crazy story. I wasn't going to mention this, and this is coming from Sharky. He texted me while we were listening. A lot of people are going to know the name Mike Sillinger in and around Saskatchewan, especially Regina.
Yep.
This is from Sharky. So Sharky was sitting here, I would say. Little known fact, Sillinger was used by one of the games for the motion sensors. I think it was 98 when he was in Philly. As part of the deal, he made his character extremely good. My kid always took him and kicked my couldn't understand how Silly was better than everybody. So I messaged Silly to ask if he could confirm or deny that. But that is from Sharky. And Sharky wouldn't just throw that out if he didn't have any truth to that.
Yeah.
So
have some
very
reference. Interesting little background story there.
Not NHL 94, but NHL a little bit later. NHL 94, we talked about 31 years. And then again, I was in break. I was going through some of the teams that were ranked really high. Like, I think it was Hot Take Perry. Did he message in and say about the Toronto Maple Leafs? They were 72 because they were pretty good, but so were the Winnipeg Jets. And I'm like, I don't remember the Jets being anything remotely like a wagon in NHL 94. My buddies would be like racing to get, I want Winnipeg. No, it was like Los Angeles, Chicago, Pittsburgh. Chicago was 78. I think Chicago the highest ranked team in NHL 94, if I'm going through it from what I see. Yeah, Chicago was. That is crazy. Montreal Canadiens were 73 because they had Patty Raw in net.
Yes. Yeah, tough to beat.
Tough to beat. And like I said, Boston Bruins were 76, so they would have had Neely, and then they had Don Sweeney, which they made Don Sweeney way too good in that game. Maybe he had an inside track with EA Sports back in the day. Like, I'll help you guys out, but I want to be able to knock over everybody.
Yeah, as you said, he was the big bully. And this was what I was going to say to you a little bit earlier about an idea for a tournament. You said you wanted to have an NHL 94 tournament.
Yes.
I think what you could do is you get enough people into it, and then you said, well, if you're this team, you're probably going to win. If you're this team, you're probably going to win. If you're really good at it, you could possibly do okay with an Ottawa. But if you picked a charity, let's say, and the more you raise, then you get, that's how the draft order goes. So it would propel you to raise more money for said charity, and then you could be a Chicago or a Boston or an LA or somebody like that instead of Ottawa. Oh, yeah, not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea at all. Riders back on the practice field today. Dave Thomas was there covering it. We talked to Dave a little bit earlier. We heard part of this interview, but let's go back to it. This is Dave with Coach Mace, and the one thing that he talks about right off the hop is the injury to Ajo.
Coach, let's start on the injury front. Back on Friday night, Ajo left early in that first quarter, didn't return. Any update on your receiver?
Yeah, no, we're still waiting to get the total results. Just had some imaging and stuff like that. Hopefully it's nothing that requires, a major surgery or anything like that. But we shouldn't be knowing here probably in the next couple hours as far as the true update on that.
On the other side, it looked like offensive lineman Jacob Brammer and defensive lineman Anthony Lanier II both looked like they had a little jump in their step today. Any chance that they're back this week?
Yeah, there's a possibility. It's good to see those guys out there practicing. Brammer in the short stint that he had, played, I thought, pretty excellent for us. And, Lanier, obviously, with the experience that he's had and what he's done in this league. So we'll see as it goes on through the week what they feel like. But certainly, getting their win back underneath them, again, just, it's one thing to sit in the meeting room and understand the playbook. But when you're out there and having to execute, just make sure that they're doing that. So there is a chance, but, we'll make that decision later in the week.
So this week's task, of course, going 1-0 against a tough Ottawa Red Blacks team. What is it going to take to get back to defending this house and getting back some of that prowess that you had early in the season here at home?
Same thing we do, or try to do, I guess, every week, is just focus on the details. It's so important for us, to put out a product that our fan base can be proud of. Certainly talking with a bunch of people around the city, even when it doesn't go our way, they see that, oh my gosh, we're close, which, from my standpoint isn't always a good thing to hear, right? So, but if nothing else, we just want to be able to put something together that the fan base can continue to come back and support us, and give them something to cheer about. Obviously wins will help with that, but we got a lot of work to do throughout the week to make sure that we can at least present that for them.
Out in Ottawa today, early reports are that Jeremiah Masoli is going to start for the Red Blacks here this weekend. Does him starting over Drew Brown change them?
I think just, maybe a little bit more comfortability in the system. Drew just got there and trying to figure out, having a totality in the system where, Jeremiah's been with Tommy for a few years now, right, about 6 years. So, he's probably more comfortable in the system. And they move the ball efficiently with Jeremiah in there. So certainly something that, we kind of anticipated maybe, but, we'll see as the week goes on.
Lastly, Coach, I don't want to start any kind of controversy or anything, but does Mario Alford need to watch or be threatened by Albert Awachi in the return game?
He looked pretty athletic there. I don't know, the technique of how he caught it, I don't know if that's but say what you want, we got positive yards and he protected the football. So, again, something we kind of anticipated, and Coach Majuri does a good job making sure those guys get their touches in throughout the week for situations like that, and looks smooth. Yeah, maybe we put him back there with Rio. I don't know.
There he is. Coach Mace getting ready again. 1 o'clock kickoff right here on 620 CKRM on Saturday. Joe. His blocking, Matt. Like, his blocking is so key. I don't like the sounds of things. I'm just speculating.
Yeah, it is concerning, of course. He provides a ton of spark. As soon as the game starts, I'm down on the sidelines. I usually got to watch out for him because he comes running out with the team at the start, and he's a house of fire. So he brings a ton of energy. He does right from opening kickoff. He's great to have on the bench, and great blocking, and it doesn't really look good right now. I believe he's on I heard he's on crutches, or at least part of the time he is. So that obviously is not a good thing, or has been at least since that Calgary game. So concerning. He's a great player and does his part, but even for the little bit that he is on the field, he makes a difference, and he makes a difference with the guys that are playing on the bench as well too. So we'll wait and see a little bit more about Joe.
We are going to talk Saskatchewan Rush lacrosse after the break. If you're watching the stream at sportscage.com, and as always, we're on 620 CKRM.
Let's define performance. Something gets burning up the pavement, turning a corner at high speed. But isn't it more about predictability and reliability? The Toyo Proxys line of premium performance tires have been tested under extreme conditions. Toyo is driving to produce a tire that performs well, whatever your course may be. Toyo tires, driven to perform, especially when you need the most. See Quality Tire with 9 locations in Saskatchewan.
QualityTire.ca.
Not once, not twice,
we give it the full triple check treatment. At Barassa & Sons, we triple check inspect your New Holland equipment, saving your Barassa time and money. 1-year parts and labor warranty on installed CNH parts and 10% off when you spend over $10,000. You bet your sweet Barassa. We take good care of your equipment at Barassa & Sons. Book before November 29th at ebarassa.com. Barassa & Sons. When it's in the bin, bring it in.
Down here at Heartland Livestock Moose Show, we are now in full swing for fall run. These sales continue to fill daily, so don't hesitate to get your calves booked in. We are home to 2 of the major buying plants that represent Western and Eastern Canada as well as the United States, with 4 major trucking companies helping bring the extra dollar for your calves. For all your marketing needs, or if you're looking to book in, don't be afraid to give us a call at 692-2385. Get top dollar for your calves and get them sold at Heartland Livestock Moose Jaw.
The Saskatchewan Roughriders are getting ready for the Saskatchewan game presented by Sega September 28th at 1 as the Riders face the Red Blacks. Halftime will feature a performance from Indigenous dancers. Coors Light Party of the Park kicks off at 10 a.m. with Tegan Little Chief and her band. And post-game will feature fans on the field. Support youth Indigenous sport by purchasing Orange Jersey raffle tickets starting September 16th for a chance to win a signed orange jersey by visiting Riderville.com. The Saskatchewan game presented by Sega versus the Red Blacks September 28th.
Spend your day interacting with us. Call or text us 306-936-6262. Driven by Capital Ford Lincoln, Saskatchewan's #1 Ford retailer. CapitalFordLincoln.com on 620 CKRM.
The all-new Sports Cage. Watch our live stream at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
This is the part of the program where if you've been listening and you're listening late, it's going to benefit you. We got 50 minutes left and a little trick today from the old Sports Cage guys. We're going to play Pick the Score right now for the next 15 minutes of the program. Ha-ha. Trickster. 936-6262, Capital Ford Lincoln text line. What is the score Saturday? The Riders and the Ottawa Red Blacks. What are you thinking out there, Rider Nation? Send it in. Colson's going to pick a winner in the next 15 minutes on the wheel of winning. And then if you're closest to and you go into the whole battle at the end of it all, you could win a $200 SaskTel gift card. It's all brought to you by our friends at SaskTel. On Tuesday, the show is for Saskatchewan Lotteries. Saskatchewan Lottery is a big supporter of everything when it comes to sports in Saskatchewan, Bidsy, and that includes the Saskatchewan Rush lacrosse team. Let's go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. We are joined by General Manager of the Saskatchewan Rush right now, Derek Keenan. Derek, how are you doing here in the, I guess, the somewhat off season as you start to get fired up?
Yeah, I'm doing well. It's been pretty busy, actually. Pretty active off season with free agency, obviously the draft, and then we had the unfortunate situation of losing a team, and we had to prepare for that. And so yeah, it's been quite busy.
Talk about your big signing, the one that made a big splash in the news in the NLL world, and that would be, of course, you guys bringing in Austin Shanks, a guy that's only 30 years old, and as we know, it seems to be that professional players are getting a little older all the time. And he's put up a lot of points in his time in the NLL.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a really skilled player. He shoots the ball really well. He finishes well. He's a good playmaker. Just exceptionally skilled. And I've known him a long time because I coached him as a kid here in Whitby and in Junior A and a little bit in Senior A as well. So I've known him a long time, so I can attest to his character. He's a pretty good kid, and we just kind of felt that, last year we had so many close games and ultimately probably cost us a playoff spot, 1-goal game, overtime game. And, you get a little bit of extra scoring power, and it's going to help those situations this year, I think.
One thing I wanted to talk about, we talk a lot about, obviously it's football season right now. We talk a lot of hockey, a little bit of lacrosse. When it comes to lacrosse players, and you talk about scouting and you watch them grow and all that, at what age do you look at a lacrosse player and say, okay, he's pro ready? Is it something where it's a little bit later for a lacrosse player, where hockey, they're always looking younger and younger now?
It's a little bit later because, honestly, a lot of the kids now, the Canadian kids, go to school U.S. college route, NCAA route, and but you have a pretty good idea though when they're playing kind of junior A in Ontario or British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, across the country. When you see them in junior, you have a pretty good idea of what their trajectory is, and then we find when they get away to an NCAA program for 4 years or 5 years that they mature both mentally and physically. So those are the guys that, pretty sure that when they come in, they're going to be ready to play. Whereas guys that might just come right out of junior or enter the draft early might take a little more time to develop. But usually the kids that come out of college are ready. They're 22, 23, 24 years old, and they're both physically and mentally ready to play.
Derek, you guys also brought in another sharpshooter, and that would be Brock Haley from Vancouver. You gave us some draft picks for him, but you add him with Austin, and it just seems like the lineup is looking a lot stronger. Fans should be a little more optimistic for next year, just looking at you guys on paper, but maybe just a bit more for the fans that aren't familiar with Brock Haley and what he also adds.
Yeah, I mean, again, a kid I watched a long time because he's from my hometown in Whitby, and his last year junior A when Whitby won the Minnow Cup that year, I think he scored 119 goals, including the playoffs and the Minnow Cup tournament. So that's rare in today's game. I think he had 78 regular season and then playoffs and Minnow Cup. So he's just a pure shooter, and with a couple of our other kind of right-handed offensive players getting a little bit older and, with some uncertainty with potential free agency coming, we just felt it was really important to have a young guy come in to add to our depth, but who also can help us now. Like, he has that skill set to help us right away. And, at the same time, he's going to have a little bit of time to develop. And so that's kind of important for a young player too. But, we had an opportunity there as a 7th pick in last year's draft, and we just didn't feel that we were going to get anybody of that caliber in this year's draft. So it was a pretty easy trade for us to make, to be honest. And again, a guy that I've known for a while and kind of really liked his skill set and his ability to shoot the ball and score. So real nice pickup for us.
You speak about familiarity, and you also, when we were talking about Shanks, I know that he has familiarity with, Ryan Keenan and Hossack and some other guys on the team. Does that weigh into it as well? Because, maybe there's a quicker chance to build chemistry, or they can speak about the chemistry maybe that they already have and how that would work for the team as well?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of that. Some of it's probably already there, and also understanding of how we want to play the game. And those guys have been around me and kind of our systems and how we like to play the game, and we like to play with tempo, and that's all over the floor, both on defense, in transition, and on offense. So those guys have a pretty good understanding coming in without. And of course, Hossack's been with us before, and a guy that we lost in the expansion draft, and we're fortunate to get him back under, difficult circumstances. But at the same time, we're real happy to get Hoss back. So, but yeah, there's some familiarity there in terms of, with one another and with how we want to play the game.
All right, Derek, well, we're going to keep tabs on things here as things start to get fired up. Exciting. I know you guys released your schedule here, too. A lot of people looking at that. I know a lot of people in southern Saskatchewan looking at that December 28th game because it's like around the Christmas season. It's always nice to get up to Saskatoon, maybe blow some of that Christmas money, do some shopping, and go to a game. You guys are taking on Philadelphia. Let's keep tabs. Let's do this again soon, Derek.
Yeah, anytime. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Right on. Saskatchewan Rush General Manager Derek Keenan joining us. Like I said, Bidsy, the schedule was released. They got the 2 home games in December. They have 2 in January. And what do we got? Only 1 in February at home. So those winter months, a lot of people are traveling around, going to Saskatoon, right? Got to take in a Rush game.
Yep. Yeah, and what they're trying to do, Shink, is they're trying to get back, of course, to their heyday when they were selling out all the home games. There was over 14,000 jammed in there. I don't know if you had a chance to go or if you did have a chance to go when they were selling out. And 14,600, 14,400, somewhere around there. It was a good time. It was loud and it was fun and it was rowdy and it was a thing to do in the winter, of course, in Saskatchewan. And it's fallen off. Attendance has fallen off a little bit. 8,000, 9,000 last year. So they're looking to bump it back up and try to get back to those sellouts. And that happens with winning, right?
Yeah, we'll be all over it. It is the all-new Sports Cage on the stream, sportscage.com and on 620 CKRM.
Some people think you should keep your opinion to yourself, but not us. The 620 CKRM Daily Poll is your chance to have your say. From the biggest topic of the day to a lighthearted query, there's always something new. Brought to you by Action Roofing, proudly serving Regina and Saskatchewan for over 40 years. Call the roofing professionals at 306-545-4677. Let us know what you think. Head over to the 620 CKRM Daily Poll at 620CKRM.com.
Hi, this is Stephen Arndt from the Tire Stewardship of Saskatchewan. We're the ones responsible for recycling your tires. We're a non-profit corporation that was established to serve as the scrap tire recycling program operator in Saskatchewan, approved by the Ministry of the Environment. We're responsible to all stakeholders, including consumers who pay the tire environmental fee, the collectors, the Ministry of the Environment, and the people of Saskatchewan. Visit tssk.ca to see how you can recycle your tires.
Hi, Sean here from the Rusty Shovel. We carry a lot of inventory, with a warehouse and yard full of it. Sometimes we order too much or what have you, and we need to clear it out to make room for new product. That's why we have the Rusty Shovel clearance section. To be able to match people with projects with our product we need to get rid of at a discount. Head to therustyshovel.ca, submit your info, and we'll get you some discounted product options for your project. Help us clear inventory out, and you can save some money. Make a deal today. Great projects start at the shovel.
I'll wait for Barney to...
The all-new Sports Cage is live streaming from our Century Studios in downtown Regina. Watch now at sportscage.com. Be part of the show by texting 306-936-6262. 620 CKRM.
Colson is saying that we got about 5 minutes left to get in. SaskTel picked the score. As soon as I mentioned that, whoa, wowzers, the Capital Ford Lincoln text line lit up. So he's gonna have some picking to do.
I was hoping one person would text and they would just automatically win. Nope.
There's way more than one person that wants to win those tickets to the Ottawa game Saturday. Get in. It's for SaskTel, 936-6262. We have Albert Awachi audio coming up here in a bit. Bidsy, we got to mention one more time, unfortunate, what happened up in Candle Lake. And I know there's a lot of support going up north.
Yeah, so in Candle Lake, at the Candle Lake Golf Resort, there was a bit of a fire just a couple days ago now, and it happened in and around the kitchen area, so it burned a big chunk of that. If you haven't been to Candle Lake, you may not understand this, but the Pro Shop restaurant building is connected by a bit of a walkway that is about 10-15 feet off the ground, and a walkway that goes straight across to what would be the banquet rooms and other sleeping quarters, a lodge. There's some res rooms there as well. Anyway, to make sure that the fire didn't spread over there, they smashed that walkway down so it could be contained just in that building. Now, not sure about how much damage is done by the pictures that we're putting up here right now on the stream, and that we will have on sportscage.com. You can see a decent amount was done, but they are staying open. The community is rallying around them. They do have some temporary, pro shop type quarters set up where people can come pay and all that. Everybody is rallying around them. The bookings are starting to fill up so that revenue is still coming in, and they're hoping to rebuild, of course, for next year. But everybody rallying around the Candle Lake Golf Resort. No injuries to report, thank God. It's just property, but unfortunate for that golf resort. But the golf community trying to help them out the best they can.
That's right. We're going to have some more on that, like you said, sportscage.com. Bidsy, good show today. Always a pleasure, my man.
Of course.
Doing what we do.
Too, brother.
And, we got now 3 minutes left. SaskTel picked the score. Colson's like, you got 3 minutes left, 936-6262. And like we teased, we have Dave Thomas earlier today caught up with Albert Awachi, and he's talking about the team game and the win on Friday.
Albert, how good did that win feel in Calgary back Friday night?
It felt good for everyone. I think just the nature of how we won too. It was just very efficient offense. Special teams was clicking. Defense held it down. So I'm just very pleased and happy for this team.
The offense looked extremely confident in everything they did. Did you feel that as well?
Oh yeah, we were confident. I think it was just a turn in practice week. You know, everyone was coming together. We had to make sure we were accountable for our teammates, accountable for ourselves. And I think it showed during the game. We got off to a relatively strong start on offense. Second half, we knew what we had to do. We didn't want to let up. This game was so important for us, and to be able to close that out, I think it was an important milestone for us.
Raquel gets 205 yards rushing. Obviously, you're a big part of the rushing attack. How personally satisfied or happy were you with those numbers?
Oh man, he's a baller. Q, man, the way he runs, the way you've seen it, just that little scamper he had to the 2-yard line, man. Like this guy was carrying. It seemed like the whole Ottawa defense or Calgary defense there. So he's a special talent that we got there, and definitely the O-line plays a big part of it. I like to be under the radar because you know what I mean. It's just if I'm out there, I just want to be an attribute to the team and just kind of just be a positive influence down there. So I'm glad I was able to help out, and I'm glad we were able to win in that fashion.
You only had 4 or 5 days with him here in Saskatchewan before he actually suits up for a game. So how well did you know him, and did you have to change anything at all, knowing the different type of back that he might be compared to what Frankie Hickson is?
See, I played with many different backs, like all the way back from William Powell back in the days. I know every back kind of fits differently with how the blocking schemes go. Some people like to hit the gas fast. Some people like to be more patient. Some people like to sidestep. I saw Q in the practice, and he told me he likes to go downhill. So I knew I was happy about that because I like downhill players as well. So I just knew we were physical on the line of scrimmage. He's going to find a hole and crease it. So he was able to do that plenty of times.
It's amazing. It's kind of a full circle time playing Ottawa again because you were the new guy the last time the Red Blacks were against the Roughriders. What does this week mean in trying to go 1-0 and continue the momentum from last week?
I mean, it's big there's a lot of ramifications on it, but Coach always tells us just to go to 1-0. So it's really just focus on this week and not really look at the big picture, just try to focus on our task at hand. And that's how I'm going to approach it.
Last question for you, maybe the hardest one. Does Mario Alford feel at all threatened by you after your big kick return in Calgary?
Man, I probably learned those moves from Mario himself, man. So, hey, that dude's a veteran in the league, man. He knows what he's doing, and, man, I'm just trying to take anything I can from him, man. I'm very grateful that he's my returner back there.
Worked out well. Appreciate this, Albert. Enjoy the week.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
It's 6 o'clock. Good evening. I'm Corey Atkinson from the Harvard Media News Center with 620 CKRM News. Federal Labor Minister Stephen